But like every week, we're heading to Traps for our opening race. And Ian Fortune, splendid night coming up. I thought Droopy's Yes in the opening race might take a little bit of beating.
Yeah, I think you're right, Rob. I think he's probably better, probably a half second better for his latest run. He did 29 seconds. He met all sorts of traffic, but he really caught my eye down at Kilkenny in the Unraced stake down there, and looks a really progressive type. Lots of pace, start to finish. If he hits the lids, just wouldn't be surprised if this fellow went fairly quick. As you can see now, they're in Traps for the opener. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the runners in Traps now for the opening race here this evening at Shelbourne Park. In 1, we have Scotch Rabbie. 2, Suddy Centurion. 3, Droopy's Yes. 4, Lombard. In 5, we have Temple Spark. And 6 is Coolmount Buzz. Here coming up behind Traps. Racing, good start by Trap 2. Suddy Centurion took a flyer. 1 now edges to the front. Scotch Rabble from in second spot. 3, Droopy's Yes. Then comes 2 and 3rd, Suddy Centurion. But out front in Scotch Rabbie sets the pace down the far side. But 3, Droopy's Yes is on his heels. Back in 3rd is 2, Suddy Centurion to the 3rd bend. And 3, Droopy's Yes now launches his challenge up the inside. Hits the front between the last 2 bends. Goes on by a length and a half. 2 lengths now. It's Droopy's Yes, an impressive winner for Johnny Linehan and Michael Dunphy. Second is 1, Scotch Rabbie, and 2, Suddy Centurion in 3rd. The winning time 28:54. Droopy's Yes, that'll do.
Yeah, that'll do indeed. Good start for Droopy's Yes. Good start for myself and Ian. We've kicked off the night with a winner. We'll have a look again. He was okay out of Traps. He's not known for his early pace. It was Trap 1, Scotch Rabbie, who took them along around the opening 2 bends. But it opened up on the inside for Droopy's Yes. He slightly checked off the second bend, but once he turned second and once he had only one Greyhound in front of him, it was never really a matter of him getting beat. He just needed a little bit of luck at the third bend, and once he managed to find that gap, it was only going to be a matter of how far. And even in commentary at this stage, Ian was pretty sure he was going to win. As Ian said, he'd good form down in Kilkenny. He was much better value for his win here at Shelbourne on his most recent start. And 28:54. It's Ian, it's a personal bet for Droopy's Yes, and a good night, good start for favourite backers. I know the result is coming in there, but a winning favourite is always a good start.
Yeah, good start for favourite backers. As you said, I wouldn't say he's devoid of early speed. He probably has plenty. He just hasn't got to grips with things yet. I still think he's pretty green, pretty backward. You look at his racing style, his galloping style. He even checks his stride at that point. Takes him a while to get going down the back straight. Charges into the third bend, hits the front. He's really strong. I have a feeling this fellow could go on to bigger and better things in the future. I just wouldn't be surprised if that trapping ability improved, and if he shows a bit of early speed. I think this could develop into a really top performer later in the year. That's Droopy's Yes. A nice start to the proceedings here at Shelbourne Park. Great nice racing to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And while I have you, Ian, we don't really know where to start. I suppose let's start here at Shelbourne, because the first of the Champion Open 550 heats isn't too far away. Your reaction to last week, we saw the likes of Barleymark Ariel, we saw Carl Ramsbottom's dog. I suppose they were the 2 stars.
Yeah, I was particularly taken by Deadly Destroyer. Ballymac Ariel, I'm confirmed the head person in her fan club. I don't think she's quite where she was. That may come. She is changed to a wide seat tonight, so it'll be very interesting to see how she runs. Deadly Destroyer can certainly run. Romeo Magico should improve for the run last week. I was surprised he was picked up as easily as he was by Deadly Destroyer. Fast Fit Paddy should improve. And of course, the Croker's dog, Croker Spirit, he's potentially very, very talented as well. So, yeah, lots to look forward to in that Shelbourne Champion 550. Some really, really impressive performers in it.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll see how Croker Spirit gets on away from Trap 1 tonight. He's a regular in Trap 1. Ian, we're going to come back to you in due course. We're going to be talking plenty about the English Greyhound Derby, because as we've said, we're breaking new ground tonight on Talking Dogs TV, because we're heading to Curraheen Park in Cork for the very first time. And at this stage, we bring in our regular down in Munster, Joe Sheehan. Joe, obviously you're a regular in Limerick. We've sent you to Clonmel, we've sent you to Tralee, and we're sending you to Cork tonight. Has the reaction been in Cork as good as it has been with your Tinder profile? That's the big question.
Absolutely, Rob. I'm after setting up a new profile down here for Cork this evening, so hoping to get a few swipes. But down here in Curraheen Park, the atmosphere is really building. Some top-class action to look forward to. And at the first time ever on Talking Dogs TV, we even have a hurdle race. We have a 750 race, we have an open 550, and of course the Denis Linehan Unraced final. You mentioned the winner of this competition last year, Deadly Destroyer, who has lit up Shelbourne Park in recent weeks, and some fantastic pups in the Denis Linehan Unraced to look forward to on the card. But 12 fantastic races down here in Cork, and the atmosphere is building. It's a bit of a dangerous territory for a Limerick man to be in Cork this evening, with the Limerick and Cork hurling match throwing in at 7 o'clock. So perhaps the Limerick man not the most welcome down here in Cork this evening, but lots to look forward to here in Curraheen Park. And in our first race, we have two of the locality's top trainers competing, with the likes of Patrick Norris having Sweet Melody from the Red Jacket of Trap 1, and of course Kieran Lynch, who of course won the Laurels a number of years ago, with Rocky Bay Foley having hold fast from the stripes of Trap 6. So very, very exciting first race here in Curraheen Park.
Be too much longer until Greyhound will be going to trap for our opening race in Cork. So let's have our three to follow. We're going to try and make a few quid tonight as much as possible. Don't forget, the best way to get involved if you're having a bet tonight is on the Bark and Buzz app. You can do your win and place bets, but the way to pay for the stream, and obviously with things starting to get better outside of Greyhound racing, with restaurants and pubs hopefully opening down the line, maybe to pay for a nice night out, the Forecast and Trio is the way to go. But our treat to follow in the very first race, and we're going to start with Trap 4, which is Quite Kitty. As you can see, they're loading for our opening race. All of these are unraced. She's a daughter of Droopy Sydney and Toast of Tara. Toast of Tara was a two-time winner in Tralee, and Quite Kitty is a full sister to Toast of Sydney. Ballintemple Louie, or Lou in Trap 5, is the dam, is a half-sister to Sporting Connell, which is a 7-time winner down in Munster. And Holdfast in Trap 6 is out of Butterbridge Pie. She was an 11-time winner in Cork, and maybe Holdfast just might be the way to go. But they're all in for our opening race at Cork. Big night in Curraheen Park. Let's get across to our commentator.
The flag is up. The hair in action for the first of the night. Sweet Melody, Gertown Hero, Supermaster, Quiet Kitty, Ballintemple Lou, and Holdfast. Racing away they go. Quick start from Sweet Melody, but forced quicker to the first bend they go. Quiet Kitty is anything but quiet as she goes around the first bend, opens a gap into the back straight. That's Quiet Kitty from 6. Holdfast in second, and back further then to 2. Gertown Hero. They're well strung out at the third bend, and Quiet Kitty is motoring here in for the last bend and heading for home. Quiet Kitty is doing it all alone, and from the start has been smart, and Quiet Kitty will go for the judge. A nice run from this greyhound. Quiet Kitty goes over from Trap 6. Back further in third is 3, and it's a 4.63 finish and a nice 28.86 clock.
Yeah, 28.86 clock. You'll take that. Quite Kitty, she's as we said, she was she was by Droopy Sydney out of Toast of Tara. We're just going to have a look at the replay again. 28, really good time. 28. We'll get confirmation of it. I think that's the Shelbourne time that you're seeing at the moment. But we're going to have a replay of this opening race in Curraheen Park. We're going to get Joe's reaction as well. We didn't mention Quite Kitty beforehand. She was well bred, and we thought that she might take a little bit of beating, or certainly we thought she might be involved if she got a good start. And it was pretty much over from Trap Rise. As you heard in commentary, she was really motoring down the back straight, and she's really pretty much come home on her own, and you get the vibe when you're looking at a race that a time is going to be fairly good. So Quite Kitty, we're going to hopefully now have a second look at this in due course, and we'll get Joe's take on it. Joe,
now
just
the first race of the night, the result 4, 6 and 3.
While we're waiting on the replay, Joe, just to get your reaction on the first race, Quite Kitty was really a one-dog race from the get-go, and she looked to be doing a good time from an early stage.
Absolutely, Rob. The winning time there, 28.86, and as the commentator Serena O'Day alluded to, this Quite Kitty, anything but quiet out here tonight in Curraheen Park, and the breeding is breeding I really like. Out of them, Toast of Tara, of course, as you alluded to, Rob, a number of moments ago, this is a little sister to Toast of Sydney. When I was over in Monmore a number of months ago, I met Julie Bates, and she was training Toast of Sydney, who had a victory in Tralee in 28.78. So this litter is going exceptionally well thus far, and as you said, really motored up the back straight. The split to the third bend, 16.32, so real back straight pace, and I think Quite Kitty is certainly a bitch with a massive future. There was a little congestion in behind, and 6 Holdfast ran on very well to finish in second place, and Suppa Master, trained and owned by Shane Murphy, ran on quite well to finish third. But our first race here in Curraheen Park, all about Quite Kitty taking the honours in 28.86.
Yeah, really good winning debut from Quiet Kitty, and actually her full brother, which was toast of Sydney, he won on his debut as well in Trelina in a similar enough time. So obviously that litter are generally ready to rock first time out, and don't be surprised if we see Quiet Kitty across the water. It shouldn't be too much longer until Greyhounds are coming on parade at Shelbourne. In fact, they are coming on parade for a second race of the night. So Ian, back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Runners now on parade for the second here at Shelbourne. The Book Your Trials online open 5:25. Greg's Jack in red for Mert Lahey and Jim Morrissey. Larry O'Shea, a son of Lawhill Blake. Whoa, Katie. In 2, New York Sydney for Jerry Holian. For the New York Boys Syndicate, a son Droopy Sydney, Marlfield Taylor. 3 wins and 4 outings. 3, Deadly Tornado, a flying early pacer for Cal Ramsbottom, James Wright and John Wright, son of Droopy's Jet, Cruel Intentions. 4 is Glencorbury Duke, owned by Stephen Barrett, trained by Jerry Melia, son of Kinloch Bray and Penny's Queen. 5 is Monrod Thunder, Graham Holland for Geraldine McKinney, a son of Droopy's Jet and Ardrahan Zindi. And out in 6 is Urban Castle for Reggie Roberts, a son of Lawhill Blake and Idle Gossip. It's your second race here this evening at Shelbourne. The Book Your Trials online open 5:25. Not long left to place your bets.
Tonight, bet early to avoid disappointment. We all back losers, but there's nothing worse than missing out on a winner. So make sure you get on early if you're getting involved in any of the different types of bets on the Bark and Buzz up. Right, our 3 to follow. Hopefully we can make it 2 out of 2, and we'll get Ian's thoughts on this race in due course. But we're going to start with Trap 2, New York Sydney for the New York Boys Syndicate, trained by Jerry Holian. Made all here at Shelbourne Park in his most recent start. Is 3 from 4, and every indication that if this lad hits the lids, he might be up there early on. If he doesn't lead, the most likely leader could be Deadly Tornado for James Wright and John Wright, trained by Carl Ramsbottom. Potentially a big night for Carl. Noticed a few quid with Boyles on a Deadly Tornado a little bit earlier. I wonder if that was Carl's money, because he did tell us that Deadly Samurai would win last week, and he was right. So a Deadly Tornado, if the money with the bookmakers is anything to go by, it looks as though he's got a big chance. And the last of our 3 to follow is Monroe Thunder for Geraldine McKinney, trained by Graham Holland. Potentially could be a big night for Graham as well. And this son of Droopy's Jet is 2 from 3. Had no luck in his most recent start at Shelbourne Park, but has posted 28.63 and a good 21.76 up at Dundalk as well. So he's a Greyhound clearly going places. So 2, 3 and 5 is the way we're looking at with the trio. Ian, first open race of the night here at Shelbourne Park. What caught your eye?
Well, obviously Deadly Tornado looks the most likely leader in Trap 3, but just keeping an eye on New York Sydney, obviously very well bred, half-brother to Run Happy, who of course went so close in the Derby back in 2019 behind Lenson Bocco, a nice dog. You know, it is an open race, but you know there's a few of them very lightly raced. Trap 5, Monrod Thunder's only had the 3 starts for Graham Holland, and out in 6, Urban Castle has only had the 5 starts. So, you know, there's still improvement in a few of these. But if I had to pick something, it probably would be Deadly Tornado. Has the 15 starts, has tremendous early dash, is likely to be in front. The opening race tonight was won in 28.54, so clearly conditions are good. The top of the ground here this evening, so they should be getting home. So I'll go with Deadly Tornado, but as I've said, I'll be keeping an eye on New York Sydney in 2.
Yeah, 2 votes for Deadly Tornado. Right, let's talk English Greyhound Derby. In fact, we won't, because they're going to traps, but we will talk about the English Greyhound Derby. Huge night potentially for Ireland. We've got 8 remaining in the English Derby. Remember, we've got 5 in the opening semi-final, and we've got 3 in the remainder. The Irish clean sweep in the final is still a possibility. I know Boyle Sports and Paddy Power are going 14 to 1 that all 6 Greyhounds in the English Greyhound Derby are Irish trained. It's never been done, but there is a possibility of it tonight, and I think it's safe to say we're going to have the 1, 2, 3 in the opening semi-final, but we'll get Ian's thoughts on that. And also potentially a big night for Ireland in the Derby Plate, because we've got 4 big runners there, and there's every chance Ireland could have the 4 winners of the 4 semi-finals tonight over in Toaster, but we'll be hearing from Ian, and you never know, Ian might give us an in-play commentary or an in-running commentary on the 2 semi-finals if we don't have any clashes here at Shelbourne Park. But as we said, we've got a huge night coming up here at Shelbourne and at Curraheen Park, and of course we'll be keeping tabs with Toaster. You never know, Ian might give us an update or 2 from Wembley, and Joe might even give us a hurling score every now and again between Limerick and Cork. We're going to try and double job or multitask as much as we can right throughout tonight. Right, Ian, back over to you. First open race of the night, and 2 votes, as we said, for Deadly Tornado.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Going to be a great battle to the opening corner here, you suspect. All in now for the second here tonight at Shelbourne Park. The Book Your Trials online open 5:25. The Hare is in motion. 1, Greg's Jack. 2, New York Sydney. 3, Deadly Tornado. 4, Glencorbury Duke. 5, Monrod Thunder. And out in 6 is Urban Castle. Hare well on the way now for this contest. Racing, good start by trap 3. Deadly Tornado shows immediate acceleration, leads into the opening turn. From in second spot to New York Sydney, showing plenty of pace. He's forced to check off there, loses a couple of lengths, and he's back in second. A long gap back to the rest, headed by 1 Greg's Jack. It's 3 Deadly Tornado, still on by a length and a half, but 2 New York Sydney catching the eye in second. Oh, they clip heels, and 2 New York Sydney strikes the front. Here comes 1 Greg's Jack in behind runners, and he runs right by him to the line. It's 1 Greg's Jack will score. From in second, 2 New York Sydney. Back in third was 5 Monrod Thunder. The winning time 28.98. An exciting contest, and Rob, you may have noticed I threw in the old Razzie bit of commentary there for you off the final turn.
You beat me to it, Ian. I saw your comment on Twitter, and I was going to say memories of Razzie, who of course passed away earlier in the week, and we'll be talking about another great of turf who passed away earlier in the week. But at this stage, it looked as though we were on for a quick fire double. Deadly Tornado, he was blistering from traps. He showed really good early. He's managed to get around in front. Even at this stage, he wasn't sure if New York Sydney was going to pick him up, but this is where it's all changed. Both Greyhounds have pretty much have ruined their chances there, with New York Sydney going into the back of Deadly Tornado. And as Ian said, Greg's Jack up the inside, has run right by him to get up on the inside to win for Mert Lahi. It just shows you, Ian, there's so much luck in running. You can do everything right like Deadly Tornado did and still not win. It's a funny old game at times.
Deadly Tornado did do everything right, but it has to be said that New York City was running over him in parts, was showing good speed into the back, was forced to check, flew into the third, clipped their heels. At that point, New York Sydney, he runs like a dog that probably will be 525 maybe limit. He might in time get the 550, but only at a push when in front, because once he did go to the frontier this evening, after the little bit of bother, it was clear that he looked tired in himself, because 1 Greg's Jack came flying up to him and ran right by him, as I said in commentary. But up front, Greg's Jack going on to score. A lot to like about Greg's Jack. Had to dig in to win in the finish, but no, I think the dog to take out of it probably is New York Sydney.
And no doubt we're probably going to maybe finish off the programme by concentrating on the Boyle Sports Irish Derby. But a greyhound like him, who no doubt, if he's into betting, he's going to be a big price. You could see him maybe improving over the coming weeks and maybe earning his spot in the Classic.
Yeah, well, he's only had the 5 starts now. Had he got through at the third bend without the traffic, he would be probably 4 wins from 5 starts. Very progressive, has plenty of early speed. You saw he shows plenty of pace down the back straight. Obviously does have to prove his stamina, but as I said to you earlier on, he's a half-brother to run happy, so just be no surprise if he did get the 550 in time.
OK, let's talk English Derby, because it's less than 2 hours until the opening semi-final. Obviously we've got the plate as well, and we'll touch on that, but we've 5 of the 6 in the opening semi-final. It's fairly certain, barring accidents, we're going to win it. And would it be a surprise if we didn't have the 1, 2, 3?
I'm not going to say a surprise, because you know yourself, when racing's competitive, the 1 UK runner in the race, Cold as Ice, is very strong, very, very strong. So if there was traffic amongst the leading lights in the race, he just could sneak into a qualifying spot. But no, I'd be hopeful and more than hopeful that the Irish will fill the frame. OK, let's get down to Curraheen Park. Loads of more English Derby chat with Ian. We still have loads of time to go until those semi-finals in Toaster. Right, Greyhounds are parading, as you can see, for our second race of the night. It's an open hurdle, as Joe said, the first ever hurdle race on Talking Dogs TV. We don't have as many hurdle races as we did in Ireland back in the day, but let's pick up the end of the commentary with the commentator in Curraheen.
Go Bosco for Trevor Varlin, and 3 wins for the middle seed is +1 this evening. And then 6 is Mad About Zeus, is Barry Daly trained for the Rosehill Syndicate from England, and that is trap 6, the wide seed -2.
OK, so a couple of minutes to go until Grange will be going to traps for, as we said, this inaugural event on Talking Dogs TV, this hurdle race. As we said, not as many hurdle races in Ireland as there used to be, but hopefully this is a sign of things to come. Right, our 3 to follow is going to start with trap 2, which is Barnard Grange Cross. She's the only female in the lineup. She's owned by Katie O'Gorman. Now, she's won over 750, which suggests that she does stay well, and she has had the benefit of a run over hurdles. She recorded a time of 29.74 over hurdles, and she has recorded 29.62 as well. that would give her a big chance, and the fact that she stays well, Barnagrain Croix has got a big chance. Lookout Missile is in trap 3, the second of her 3 to follow for the Rosehill Syndicate, trained by Barry Daly, a 3-time winner from 22 starts, has recorded 30-11 over hurdles in Cork, and has been running in A3 grade, so you'd be brave to leave that out of the trio if you're doing that. And the last of her 3 to follow possibly is the one to beat, which is Loch Mask, son of Skywalker Farlow for Jack Molloy. As we said, this lad has been running in A1 company back in the day, and he's recorded a time of 29.55. That was in a hurdle trial at Cork, but if he was to get a solo here, something similar might be good enough. So Loch Mask maybe is the one to beat, but Joe, a few of these have yet to jump a hurdle in public. What's your take on this first ever hurdle race on Talking Dogs TV?
Excited. It's his first ever hurdle race on Talking Dogs TV, and I must admit it's my first ever hurdle race being present in a Greyhound track to watch, so very, very exciting times here in Curraheen Park. It's always exciting to have that little added bonus of the hurdles in the race. As you alluded to, trap 2, Barnagrain Croix, very, very strong stayer in her own right, of course, has some very nice runs, 42.35 victory over the 750 distance last time, and that's a very, very nice clock, D0 to be exact, and perhaps not known for her early prowess, but if it can be prominent in the early stages race, is sure to be thereabouts. Barry Daly, the trainer, has 2 runners here, trap 3, Lookout Missile, and 6, Mad About Zeus, of course, aiming for a hurdle success here for the Rosehill Syndicate of Parsons Drove in England too. Certainly very interesting contenders there. Roscoe Bosker runs for Trevor Varian, of course, another local man down in Cork. Was a nice victory of 29.34 in Youghal, and as Barry Drake, I'm sure, would be delighted to hear me say, if you can do time around Youghal, you can do it certainly anywhere on the planet. As you said, Loch Mask has a 29.55 hurdle trial to its credit, and that is a very, very nice time over the hurdles, and has 18 starts but only 2 wins, but perhaps that statistic doesn't really reflect Loch Mask's true ability. And Lookout Missile is probably one I feel should be in probably the business end of things, of course, well bred out of Lochleman. Holly, of course, who's granddam. Lochleman Nell, bred Lochleman Bridie. I'm going for 2-4-3 for the trio here, but very, very exciting. We're heading over to Serena now for our commentary.
And here we go, here in action for the second snoozing king. Barnagrain Croix, Lookout Missile, Loch Mask, Roscoe Bosco, Mad About Zeus. Racing off they go. First over the hurdle, 1 goes over from 5, and they just touch slightly, and 6 goes on. It's 6 at the first bend. It's Mad About Zeus, takes it into the back straight, leading out from 3, Lookout Missile. Down they'll go and heading for the next hurdle. It's 6 will get over in front, 6 from 3, and again 6 and 3 with 2 as they'll go for the final bend. They'll head for home with Mad About Zeus taking it along from Lookout Missile. There's another hurdle in this for 6 up front, and then comes 3. They'll head up for the judge, and Mad About Zeus, and over he goes and takes this one. Mad About Zeus from 3 and 2, and that's how they finished. And it's Lookout Missile and Barnagrain Croix behind in a time of 29.42.
Yeah, 29.42, fairly slick time indeed. And Joe did allude to the fact that Barry Daly had 2 in the race, and it's safe to say Barry was most definitely schooling his 2 over hurdles, because they finished first and second. Mad About Zeus, though, he was really the only Greyhound who dominated from the start. In fairness, Lookout Missile has done his best to go with him, and in the closing stages it looked as though he was going to possibly win. But in fairness to Mad About Zeus, they say in horse racing jumping wins races, and Mad About Zeus was foot perfect over every one of these hurdles. You'll see him off the final bend. He needed a good jump at the final hurdle. He's absolutely pinged it, and in the end he's won by a couple of lengths. But Joe, you alluded to Barry Daly having 2 in the race, first and second, and probably safe to say he's a hurdling specialist after that race.
Yeah, absolutely. And before the race, perhaps Mad About Zeus came in here as an A5 Greyhound, and there was some higher graded, as you said, there was another Greyhound race who was graded A1 in the day. So perhaps on a flat 5-5 wouldn't have been the most leading light, but hurdles can really add that spark to a Greyhound, can really refresh them, and certainly this has worked wonders for Mad About Zeus, who had a 30.19 trial, so improved its clock by almost 10 lengths, which was a fascinating improvement. And well done to Barry Daly, and well done to the Rosehill Syndicate, who had a 1-2 there with Lookout Missile finishing second. As you said, Rob, definitely well schooled around Cork. Well done to all connections of Mad About Zeus taking our second race.
Yeah, thanks for that, Joe. Right, as you can see, Greyhounds have finished parading for our third race of the night. It's the opening heat of the quarterfinals of the Shelbourne Champion 550. So we're going to start our 3 to follow for our third race. Our 3 to follow starting with Kildallan Pearl, the only female in the lineup, but she was a good winner last week when winning in 29.85. We knew she stayed on that occasion, judging by her 5.75 runs, and she hasn't got a bad draw tonight. She's most definitely one of the easier of the quarterfinals. So Kildallan Pearl is one for the shortlist, and she was the fastest of these last week. Next of our 3 to follow is Trop 4, Jack's Little Thing for the Pillar Syndicate, trained by Graham Holland, a 5-time winner from 12 starts. Didn't get the most clearest of runs behind Ballymac Ariel tonight, or last week, but as an easier task tonight. So Jack's Little Thing might get back to winning ways. And then the last of our 3 to follow, possibly a likely leader early on, is Butsy's Best for the Butsy's Buckos Syndicate, trained by Jerry Holly, and a 5-time winner from 15 starts. The only wide seed, and we know he can record times of 29.80 for the 550 trip here. That might be good enough, although judging by the way the track is running, he might need to go a little bit faster. Ian, that's a 3 to follow. I noticed there was a small few quid for Broke with Hope with Boyle Sports at a bigger price, and judging on what he's got to do here, he probably wouldn't have to improve much from last week to get involved.
He wouldn't be on my radar now, I must say. From Trap 5, I think he wants the fence badly. He's going to have to absolutely rock it from boxes to get involved. I wouldn't be backing him at single figures anyway, I can promise you that. Fast Fit Paddy can go faster than he did last week. He is 28.30 around here for the 525. He did 30.02 last week. It was a messy sort of a contest, so expect him to go faster. Kildallan Pearl, well, she flashed from traps last week. She was headed, but she came storming home. She ran on strongly to the escape. She looks one that'll be all over a 575, 600 yard star in the future. Jack's Little Thing is my choice in the race. I think he's a classy animal. Didn't get involved early last week, took a bump, did close in the closing yards, and I'd expect him to go considerably faster, especially if he does hit the lids. But Butsy's Best is probably a well-drawn dog with 5 edging inwards. He wants the longer run to the corner, but he's not necessarily a stout stayer. He'll need to hit the front before sort of halfway third bend if he's going to score, but he could be left alone on his outside, so just wouldn't be surprised if he played a part in proceedings.
Okay, maybe 4 and 6 in a reverse forecast. Just before they go to traps, you talked obviously about the opening semi-final over in Toaster, and we can't maybe take things for granted, but your most likely winner, obviously, we 5 Greyhounds in that semi-final who were good enough to win the competition, or most of them anyway. What's your idea of the winner just after 9 o'clock?
He's the defending champion. Obviously, it's a different track. You know, he won at Nottingham last year. He's running a Toaster this year, but he's unbeaten in the competition. He's doing everything right. He's the only Greyhound you can actually say that's better suited by the red jacket than anywhere else, because he's still sort of coming away well, whereas a lot of dogs are missing the kick from the inside. If he traps on terms tonight, I just can't see anything getting around him to lead him. Perhaps Ballymac Fairwin if he took a flyer, but no, I think Dearjet Sydney is the one to beat, and he's a shade of odds on, and that's, you know, for the right reasons.
Yeah, and then obviously we're talking about maybe third, and we go back to the Open 600 final here where Ballymac Wild beat by Beach Avenue. Beach Avenue so close to getting him. It might be a case of the two of them fighting out that third place spot in the closing stages. Wouldn't that be fascinating?
Toolmaker Sydney's been trapping a bit better in the UK. He's massive pace down the back straight, and he's staying on a lot stronger than he did in his youth. It's going to be a hell of a battle for third. Don't get me wrong, it could be a battle for second, it could be a battle for first, but if everything goes to plan, it's going to be Dearjet Sydney and Ballymac Fairwin probably going round first and second, and then it's a case of, well, what will chase them home. Beach Avenue, I think, might just get the clear run on the outside. I think it might just get a little bit tighter on the inside for room. So just if Beach Avenue stays wide, minds himself, I thought he'd probably sneak through.
Yeah, no doubt. Plenty are on Beach Avenue at big prices. They'll want him to get through. Now, obviously, for those who got involved before the Derby, I think each way bets, you just have to get to the final to collect. Right, more on the English Derby in due course, and we'll be touching on the Derby plate as well, where Ireland have 2 really good chances in the 2 semi-finals. But they're loading here for this opening heat of the quarter-finals of the Shelbourne Champion 550. A really good stake going back quite a few years. And if last week's opening rounds are anything to go by, this stake will take plenty of winning. So Jack's Little Thing and Butsy's Best, they were the two that maybe to focus on if we're doing a forecast, and then maybe Kildallan Pearl or Broke with Hope if you want to put something at a price in the TriCast. But loading underway, race 3 for the Open 550 in. They're starting to load.
Yeah, the opening heat of the Shelbourne Champion 550. Once again, 4 to qualify here. 4 to qualify, so it'll leave us with 12 next week for 2 semi-finals, 3 to qualify from each of the semi-finals. So the final itself will be here in a fortnight's time. As you can see, the loading process is underway for this, our third race here tonight, the opening heat of the Shelbourne Champion 550. Some real stars have been involved in this competition over the years. The likes of Droopy's Nidge has won it. Rural Hawaii, of course, who went on to Derby Glory. Not the year he won this competition, but the following year. All in now for this third race here tonight at Shelbourne Park. The opening heat of the Shelbourne Champion 550. 1 Greg's Hill, 2 Fast Fit Paddy, 3 Kildallan Pearl, 4 Jack's Little Thing, 5 Broke With Hope, and 6 is Butsy's Best. Hair up behind traps. Racing, good start by trap 4. Jack's Little Thing leads into the opening turn from the inside. 1 Greg's Hill, 6 Butsy's Best gets involved in the outside, but out front, and it is trap 4 Jack's Little Thing that leads down the far side. From in second, 1 Greg's Hill, who faded home last week. Then comes 2 Fast Fit Paddy, sure to stay on. 6 Butsy's Best trying to get back into contention, but it's all about 4 Jack's Little Thing clear off the final turn. This fellow stays 550 yards and further, leads up to the line and wins well. In second spot, it looks like a tight one between 3 Kildallan Pearl and 2 Fast Fit Paddy, but no doubt about the winner, Jack's Little Thing, away and gone in 29.50.
Yeah, away and gone indeed, and that was the real Jack's Little Thing, as Ian did sort of suggest beforehand. He expected something like this. He's come out well, he showed good early, Butsy's Best was slowly into stride. He showed good early, but he needed to get a flyer, as did Trap 5 Broke With Hope. But at this stage, as Ian said in commentary, this was all over bar the shouting, because this lad stays well, and he was really motoring into the third bend. Greg's Hill has done well to stay in it to the third bend. In the end, Fast Fit Paddy, I think, might have got up for a second, but this is a 1 Greyhound affair from the get-go, and Jack's Little Thing, he's now 6 from 13 starts, and he's given himself a chance of maybe going all the way in this competition. Ian, we're going to have a second rerun. I'd say you were fairly confident once this lad hit the lids.
It was over after a stride. Well, when I say a stride, once he cleared the inside 2 or 3, and he did well to do so, because Greg's Hill isn't devoid of early speed, but Jack's Little Thing comfortably took a length and a half off him into the opening bend and really strode out majestically. He caught the eye in the Rural Hawaii. It stood up, Unraced stake down at Clonmel earlier in the year. Looked a real prospect in that. 1 or 2 performances, since that weren't quite up to that level, but this was him at his very best, Jack's Little Thing, for the Pillar Syndicate and Graham Holland. Going to have a lot of fun with this fellow. I think 550 yards at Shelbourne Park is his game. And you know what? That's where you want it. 550 yards at Shelbourne Park. Just don't be surprised to see how this fellow running well in the Derby.
Absolutely, it's going to be all about Shelbourne Park over the coming weeks. And as Ian alluded to, the final of the Champion Open 550, and indeed the Corn Cuchulainn, is on in a couple of weeks' time. And you might have read it in Talking Dogs earlier in the week. That's going to be live in Racing Post Greyhound TV. So make sure you're tuning in a couple of weeks' time. Ian, we'll concentrate on Toaster again. We've got your 1-2. I don't know if we got your 1-2-3, but we got your 1-2 anyway for the opening semi-final. The second semi-final, we've got 3 of the 6. Obviously, there's still a chance it could be an all-Irish final. Is there any chance we're going to finish 1-2-3? Do we need a lot of luck for that to happen?
We need luck. I'm not sure we need a lot of luck, but we certainly need luck. The betting would suggest that Knocknabull Sid will flash from boxes, make every inch once again. He's been in flying form. He's been in flying form for the year, of course. He's already the Easter Cup champion. He ended last year in style, winning the Kingdom Derby. So, all fingers point to Knocknabull Sid to flash out, make all. But New In Session is a greyhound who was disputing favouritism at the start of the competition. He's nearly as big a price tonight for the heat alone as he was at the start of the competition to win it outright. That just goes to show where his Derby campaign has gone. He's been running okay, but it's just not been showing the same dash, the same brilliance that he clearly possesses. I just wonder if Toaster's not his track, and maybe that's just the case, but who knows. He is well housed tonight, and if he does hold the likes of Bocco's Belly into the opening corner, find himself in a good pitch off the second bend, he could easily be in a Derby final. Gaytime Milo I actually tipped up last week at big prices. He was returned a 6-1 chance. Things were certainly in his favour last week. If Knocknabull Sid takes a flyer from 4 and edges inwards to the fence in the opening yards, he might just get a clear run, but Thorn Falcon on his outside will edge in on the corner as well. So he's going to have to hold that rival. Now he's big and he's strong enough to do so. So who knows? But I think a 1-2-3 might be too much to ask for.
Okay, lovely stuff. Ian's going well in the media challenge, by the way, so we're going to get his nap off tonight. He might just, it mightn't be just Ireland who win the derby. We might have more to brag about over the next week or so. Right, the ARP rating we're hearing over at Curraheen Park, so let's join Serene.
Run. Didn't start too well and got crowded in that one. Was the in the first race of her career. She's in 3 tonight +1. Now 4 Rock Forest Tower for Kathleen O'Mahony of Mallow runs in 4. Middle seed, a couple of placings from 3 starts and hoping for her first win. Creamery Astaire is in 5 and Hazel Mullins from Carricknavar is the owner. 1 run and was 3rd on that occasion. The middle seed, Black Dog, in 5. And then comes Ferry 4th Tim. For William Egan from Fremont, trap 6 here is a wide seed and has been placed on 2 occasions from 6 starts and is -1 this evening. Okay, the time tells us they will race in 2 minutes here. 2 minutes, we'll be racing race number 3, the A5, and the very best of luck to you all.
Yeah, thanks for that, Serene. Right, we're going to get our 3 to follow for this third race of the night at Cork. It's an A5. We're going to start with Slaney Side Adam, who is owned by Derek Keogh. Was a one-time winner from 2 starts. Made all to win on debut in 29.41. Found things a little bit tougher on his second start. But if Slaney Side Adam can return to any of the form that he showed on debut, he would have a good chance. He made all on that occasion. The second number 3 to follow is Raffles Regale for Noreen O'Connor and Lorraine Keane, a daughter of Droopy's Roddick. She had no look in her opening start, but she did show a little bit of pace from halfway to post a winning time of 29.73. She clearly is talented. She's well bred as well, so if she gets a clear run, she might be one to put in the trio. She could be a big price. And the last number 3 to follow is Rockforce Tara, the third of the females for Kathleen O'Mahony. No look in 3 starts to date, but she hasn't had much luck, in fairness, in running on her 3 runs, and she is another who could be doing her best work from halfway. But Joe, we'll get you nice and early here. The third race of the night. What do you like?
Yeah, as you said a while ago, Rob, Slaney Side Adam had a very, very impressive debut, victorious in 29.41, but I also like the 3.41 split, showing a bit of early. Stepped up in class to A5, and things didn't probably go his way on that occasion. With that experience in mind, perhaps Slaney Side Adam could come up trumps here. The one I really like is Creamery Astaire, of course, for Hazel Mullins. Has only had 1 start to date, but clocked 29.37. Previous to that, had a 29.86 qualifying trial. It was quite a hot race on Creamery Astaire's debut victory, going there in 28.97. So perhaps with that experience, Creamery Astaire can be thereabouts. We're heading over to Serena for our commentary.
The bell sounded here in action for the third. Darren Range, Slaney Side Adam, Raffles Regal, Rockforest Tara, Creamery Astaire, Ferry 4th Tim. Racing off they go. 1 and 2 come away smartly from the centre. 2 goes to the first bend, and that's Slaney Side Adam gets to the bend in front just about from 3. 3 and 2 collide. 3 on the inside is Raffles Regale as they go into the back straight. These 2 are right together now, with 5 coming into the picture in third. 3, 2, 5. 5 is legs here. Creamery Astaire is motoring. They'll go for home with 3, 5 and 2 the order, but 3 up front. Raffles Regale from 5 Creamery Astaire, and then comes 2 Slaney Side Adam, but it's 3 Raffles Regale. Raffles Regale is very good in this one. 3, 5 and possibly 2 in third there. Close enough there for the third, but it looks like 3, 5 and 2. And that's how they finished, and she ran well indeed. Raffles Regale 29.40.
Yeah, 29.40 the winning time for Raffles Regale, and we did say she didn't have much luck in running on her most recent start, but she did catch the eye in the feet. Now she's had a little bit of luck here, because Slaney Side Adam looked as though he was going to lead around the opening 2 bends, but there was an awful lot of traffic problems, and somehow Raffles Regale has managed to find her way to the rail, and at this stage we knew she was going to take a little bit of catching. We knew she was more than likely going to beat Slaney Side Adam. Creamy Astaire though looked a big challenger at the third bend, and even though he's got up the inside of Slaney Side Adam, this leader Raffles Regale never really looked like being pulled back, and in the end she's run out strongly to the line, and she's done it. Joe, we said she was well bred. We said she caught the eye on her first start, and she's done that well, despite maybe not getting the clearance of run early on.
Yeah, absolutely, and a bit of traffic and congestion perhaps played into Raffles Regale hands. The one I really noted there was Creamery Astaire ran on astoundingly well after being part of the congestion problems at the beginning of the race, but a nice clock, 29.40. Creamery Astaire came home in 12.29, certainly showing that he definitely stays from the third bend home and perhaps could be a distance dog in the future. Very, very shrewd connections, of course, for our winner here, who was a Tralee Raider, and I'm sure the Cork crowd will be delighted to see a Kerry Raider having victory here in our third race here in Curraheen Park tonight.
Okay, thanks Joe. They're on parade at Shelbourne, so let's get straight over to Ian.
He too of the Shelbourne champion 550 in 1. Ballymac Merlin, very talented son of Vulturi. Ballymac Bell, trained by Liam Dowling. Next in the blue jacket you see Glen Quan Pat, a dog with superb early speed, owned by Damien Cunningham and Liam Curley. This a son of Patsy Sabbath and Glen Lee. 3 is Romeo Magico, another with fine early speed. Graham Holland for David Firmiger, a son of Magical Balin, fabulous artist. 4 is Jack's Lockup for Mert Lahey and Larry O'Shea, son of Lawhill, Blake and Woe Katie. 5 Vipers Buzz for Kieran Hicks, son of Good News and JT Osprey. And out in 6 is Bielsa's Rebel, owned by Mark O'Shea, trained by Kieran Lynch, a son of Rocky Bay Foley and Miss Flash. It's your 4th race here this evening. Heat 2 of the Shelbourne champion 550. They're on the way to boxes.
Yeah, they sure are a mouth-watering second heat of the Shelbourne champion 550. Right, let's start with our 3 to follow. We're going to start with the likely favourite, maybe certain favourite, Ballymac Merlin for Liam Dowling. We know he done well to qualify last week. He obviously ran well in the Racing Champions the couple of nights we were showing from Talking Dogs TV down there. On his best form, he's got a big chance, and on his best form, he might be the one to beat. Romeo Magico, he mentioned him, give him a good mention or a little bit earlier on for David Firmiger, been to give Graham Holland a double on the night. Possibly the likely leader. He's got a good draw. He was caught late on last week, but there's a good chance he could make up for it tonight. And Vipers Buzz, who done well to qualify last week. Of course, we know him from the Produce Stakes in Limerick. He might be a Greyhound, or Produce Stakes in Clonmel. He might be a Greyhound staying on well from halfway, and might be one for the trios. But Ian, you mentioned Romeo Magico a little bit earlier. Is he your most likely winner?
If I had to put my finger on one, I'd actually go with Ballymac Merlin from the draw. I think he's a dog with a lot of promise, a lot of ability, and we showed that in the semi-finals of the Race of Champions. I had him actually backed to win the Kirby at big prices each way. He got knocked out in the semi-finals. Just didn't happen for him quick enough in that competition. He was coming right. He was showing plenty of promise, but just couldn't get his trapping ability right. But certainly made up for that in the semi-finals of the Race of Champions. No luck in the final, but he's a dog with a lot of ability. I think Glen Quan Pat in Trap 2 will go up fast. He might just hold up Romeo Magico, and if Ballymac Merlin can slip around the fence, I think he'll take some stopping. I think Vipers Buzz could certainly make the frame. It sets up like a race where all the early speed can't go round in front, and something might be coming home well, and that could be Vipers Buzz. So, for me, maybe a 1-3-5, 1-5-3 sort of combination. That's the way I'd be thinking.
Great minds think alike, not often. Myself and Ian fortunately agree. Right, Ian, we did mention you're going well in the media challenge across the water. That was after a slow start, but like all top dogs, you come good towards the end of the show. So you're leading heading into tonight's action. Obviously, the Derby Plate, I presume it's the whole card that you get to tip and put up your naps. What are the ones that you've relied on tonight?
I've napped actually Glengar Bale. I just think from the draw tonight, if he comes away on level terms, I thought he couldn't help but lead around the corner. And Glengar Bale, when he leads, he's very rarely picked up. So yeah, Glengar Bale for me.
And anything maybe outside of left field? I presume you've gone for 4 Irish winners in the 4 semi-finals, have you?
I have. To be honest, Rob, when I was looking at tonight's action in the UK, I thought I wouldn't like to be a bookie tonight. I thought it was a night where you could get an awful lot of accumulators up. Okay, there's a few very short ones in the marathon races, in particular in the Durando Marathon, like Savannah Volcano and Iamza Royale, and then you have the 4 in the semi-finals of the 2 stakes, the Plate and the Derby itself. If people start putting down those accumulators, they can soon add up, and put down a lot of favourites tonight. It was just one of those cards. We might pick out 1 or 2 bigger price ones next week.
And it's not often towards the end of a competition that you see clocks go. I can't remember it ever happening, but Toaster's obviously running well because the 6 bend clock went last night by a former Irish dog. Isn't that correct?
That's true, and the sprint clock went on Tuesday as well. And then the split clock actually went tonight. Luna Rocket did a 4-second split, so the track is obviously flying. Okay, right. Ian will be keeping up to date with Toaster. Remember, we've got loads of Irish interest in the Derby semi-finals and indeed the Derby Plate. Right, they're up behind traps here at Shelbourne. As you can see, it's the second of the quarter-finals of the Shelbourne Champion 550. As Ian said, the first 4 go through to next week's semi-finals. We can't wait for that. And both of us agree that if you're doing the trio, 1-3-5 always might be the way to go. And Vipers Buzz, he might be a little bit of value. He might boost up the tree. We're 7-1 as we speak on the tote if you're getting involved on the bar
Park and Buzz app. But it's our second quarter final of the Shelbourne Champion 550. Remember, we've got the Corn Cuchulainn to come. We've got loads of action across the water. Ian will be keeping us up to date from Toaster. Obviously, it's a big night down in Curraheen Park. The big race there is the Denis Linehan Solicitors Unraced final. 2 Greyhounds putting their unbeaten records on the line, and Joe will be telling us what he fancies there, and he might even let us know how his beloved Limerick and Cork are getting on. We must be coming up to half time in that Munster head-to-head. But back to Shelbourne. Good day for the Dubs so far, so let's stick with Dublin. They're loading here at Shelbourne.
Yeah, they are indeed. All in traps now for this next semi-final, or next heat, should I say, of the Shelbourne Champion 550. This is for a place in the semi-final, should I say. As you can see, they're all in now. This is the second heat of the Shelbourne Champion 550. Fine display in the opening heat from Jack's Little Thing. Can these go faster? Well, we'll soon find out. The runners: 1 Ballymacmerlin, 2 Glenquan Pat, 3 Romeo Magico, 4 Jack's Lockup, and 5 Vipers Buzz, and 6 is Bielsa's Rebel. Hair up behind traps. Racing, good start by 1 Ballymacmerlin, 2 up the inside Glenquan Pat, and in the middle Romeo Magico. It's Romeo Magico from the inside Ballymacmerlin. They go around first and second. Then comes 4 Jack's Lockup, a further gap 2 and 4th Vipers Buzz, but out front, and it is 3 Romeo Magico. Seemed to check his stride very slightly there, but he leads by 3 lengths. 2 in second Ballymacmerlin. Then comes 4 Jack's Lockup, but onto the final bend it's Romeo Magico, not for catching tonight it seems, leads to the line and will score from 1 Ballymacmerlin. Tight for third between Vipers Buzz on the near side, Jack's Lockup at the far side. The winning time 29:48. That's more like it from Romeo Magico.
That's more like it from Romeo Magico, and that's more like it from Graham Holland, because he's had a quite few weeks here at Shelbourne Park, but he's had a big fire double already tonight, and that surely is a sign of things to come. He had a fairly level break, Romeo Magico. Himself and Ballymacmerlin came out level, but he showed really, really good early to get in front around the opening 2 bends, and at this stage he looks the most likely leader. Now, we know Ballymacmerlin stays well, but he would really need to take wings or to set off on some sort of gas if he was going to win this, because Romeo Magico is absolutely flying, and in fairness he stayed out the trip well. Ballymacmerlin has run well in defeat, and I think we've managed to nail the tricast as well, because Vipers Buzzine, he's just got going all too late. He looks like a greyhound who's just slowly starting to get used to Shelbourne Park.
Yeah, it's funny, Vipers Buzz probably has more experience than a lot of them around Shelbourne. He has a win over this trip in the past, but he may just lack a yard of early speed. But he's plenty strong enough. But I liked Romeo Magico, very impressive display. Came away level. Ballymacmerlin, Glenquan Pat, both on terms with him in the opening yards. But to clear those 2 into the opening bend was a fair achievement. He took a bump, but he rode it well. He's a beautifully balanced greyhound, much like his sire, Magical Bale. I think he's a dog with a very bright future, Romeo Magico. A couple of disappointing runs thus far in his career, but Graham Holland describes him as a very type, and as he matures, and he's only in August 19, he could turn into a really serious greyhound in the coming months, and another dog that come Derby time could be one you could throw in at a price.
Absolutely, with pace like that, he's most likely to lead most nights in the Irish Derby, so he could be one to back at big prices. Right, we're hearing that they're parading down in Curraheen Park, so let's join Serena.
Owner trainer from Tralee, 7 wins this dog, and he runs from 5 the wide seed. And then the 6th dog is Super Hitman, and Vincent Brown and John Brown from Blarney are the owners. And this wide seed is has only run twice. It was placed on 1 occasion. And the young dog from 6 here is Super Hitman. This is a sprint, and they will head along over towards the traps now for this one. Now the off time 7:52.
Yeah, thanks for that, Serena. An open sprint. So let's get our 3 to follow before we get Joe's taken. We're going to start with 7 Heads Rock, unsurprisingly, who on his best form, he's probably the class act here for Graham Holland. He's had a double already at Shelbourne. Every chance he's going to land this. A recent 16:28 trial in Cork suggests that this lad's going really well. We know he can do it of the sprint distance in the best of company. We know he can do it over 5:25. If this lad hits the lids, it's surely going to be a matter of how far. He does look He does look banker material. The next of our 3 to follow is Lane Daisy. She's the only female in the lineup. She's trained and owned by James Kelleher in Macroom. She's a 10-time winner from 36 starts. She's got a number of really good runs to her name in Cork, and she managed to win an open company in 1771. That was for today's trip. So she's got a big chance if 7 Heads Rock doesn't hit the lids, and she's most definitely one to put in your forecast and trios. And the last of our 3 to follow is the second of the 3 wide seeds, and that's Sign on Macintrop 5 for Anthony Slattery, a 7-time winner from 20 25 starts, posted a really good 17.38 in Thurles on his most recent start, and he's definitely not shy of early pace either, so he's another for the shortlist. But Joe, an open sprint, a really good open sprint, but initially I thought if Seven Heads Rock is on his A game, he might take a little bit of beating.
Yeah, really very top quality sprint here, Rob. As you alluded to, the Graham Holland trained Seven Heads Rock with a run of 28.26 around Shelbourne Park, and the thing that really stood out for me in that piece of form was the 2:06 sectional that Seven Heads Rock did in Shelbourne Park, and that is real good early pace. A repeat of that piece of form will surely see Seven Heads Rock go exceptionally close to the winning line here. Tracton Tornado runs for local trainer Kieran Lynch, and Kieran of course is a very, very shrewd trainer indeed, and has some very, very nice pieces of form to its credit. On its most recent trial had 17.79 around Cork, so that shows that Tracton Tornado is a greyhound in fine form at the moment. 50 Cashback runs for Denis Crowley of Kilmallock, has an 18.65 victory to its credit in Shelbourne Park, and a repeat of that piece of form could see 50 Cashback in the winners enclosure as well. As we always say here, in these sprints it's all about the break, and the margins are so fine. Whoever hits the lids, as we've seen in the Treaty Cup final last week with Milrose Melody, whoever hits the lids has a massive advantage going ahead. Solan Daisy for James Kelleher is a bitch I really like. She's the only lady in this race, but has some fantastic pieces of form to her credit. 17.71 around Cork, victorious in her latest start, and that was in SSO company, so open class. She's mixed it with the best of them, and Sean really proved her worth. As I said, she's the only bitch in the race, and if she can hit it, can be thereabouts as well. There's a lot of super sprint form here, and she was one who ran in the super sprint in Cork, which is a fantastic sprint competition annually here in Curraheen Park. Sign on Mac, as you alluded to as well, ran for Anthony Slattery, victorious in 17.38 in its most recent start, and that's a very, very nice piece of form. And Super Hitman, although only has had 2 starts to date, had 17.77 in its most recent start around Cork. Perhaps a tough assignment here for Super Hitman. It's going from S6 up to open class is a tough assignment, but perhaps it could improve with probably one of the more dark horses in this field. If I had to pick one, I'd probably go for Solan Daisy and Seven Heads Rock to compete for the winning podium. We're going to head over now to Serena for our commentary.
Right, they're all in. Flag is up. And here we go. The bell has sounded here in action. Tracton Tornado, Seven Heads Rock, 50 Cashback, Solan Daisy, Sign on Mac and Super Hitman. Racing in the sprint. 3 is away quick. 3 from 1 on the inside. 3 is 50 Cashback from 1 Tracton Tornado. They'll go to the first bend with 3 and 1. There's going to be a tangle. There is 3 and 1 go on, and the tangle behind, and 2 comes into third. 3, 1 and 2 as they head up for the judge. 50 Cashback up front from trap 1 Tracton Tornado, but it's 50 Cashback, 3, 1 and 2, and a nice run from this greyhound. That's a class run as well. 17.58.
Yeah, 17.58 class run indeed. We didn't give 50 Cashback much of a mention beforehand, but as Joe alluded to, it was a really good open sprint, and all 6 were worthy of their place in this Fortress. We'll have a look again. Sprints, it's so important to hit the lids, and 350 Cashback has got a flare. Seven Heads Rock was completely slowly into stride. He showed good early, but if you miss the break in a sprint, you're always going to be struggling, and it was Tracton Tornado who was the only one really half able to go with the winner, but 50 Cashback out and gone like a rocket, and once you hit the lids like that in an open sprint, you're always going to give yourself a half chance. And Joe, we'll bring you in here because we've said it over and over again. Obviously breaks are important in all greyhound races, but in particularly in sprints, and this lad's really hit the lids well.
Yeah, it's all about the break, and Rob, I have a big smile on my face at the moment because 50 Cashback was owned and trained in a lovely little town of Kilmallock in County Limerick, so perhaps this won't be the only victory the Limerick people will have in the Cork area tonight. What a fantastic run it was, and a real class time, as Serena, the commentator, said. 17.58, that's a real class time, and that piece of form around Shelbourne Park that 50 Cashback had, winning in 18.65, that's some very, very nice form, and perhaps competitions like the Bar 1 could be on 50 Cashback's agenda. It was a very, very nice performance, but as you said, it's all about the break. Got the all-important break and really ran on well. Trackton Tornado ran on quite well for Kieran Lynch as well, back in second, and Seven Heads Rock for Graham Holland back in third. But I'm sure some of these greyhounds in this race have a very, very bright future ahead.
Absolutely, and if you haven't heard, Joe, good news for Limerick. They're leading by 6 points against Cork at half time, so you might want to sneak out the back if they manage to hold on tonight, but a long way to go, no doubt. Okay, we're coming up to the next of our Shelbourne quarterfinals of the Shelbourne Champion 550. Greyhounds will be coming on parade shortly. This possibly is the race of the night here at Shelbourne, certainly in the Champion Open 550, because we got Deadly Destroyer in Trap 1. Remember, he recorded 29.64 last week after stumbling early on, so it'll be interesting to see how he fares if everything goes right. We got Croker Spirit. We know he can do it from Trap 1. Can he do it from Trap 3? He's got lightning early pace. And then we've got Ballymac Ariel, who outside his wife and his 3 girls is probably Ian Fortune's most favourite female in Ireland, certainly on 4 legs, and it'll be interesting to see how she fares. As Ian said, she's got a change of seating, but they're on parade, Ian.
Thanks, Rob. The runners on parade for this 5th race. E3 of the Shelbourne Champion 550. 1 is Deadly Destroyer for Gary Hannon, Carol Ramsbottom, brilliant winner last week, the son of Droopy's Jet and Cruel Intentions. 2, Bella Medina Roxy, a talented daughter, Dorota's Woo and Cabra Roxy, owned by Stephen Pennell, care of agent Kevin Loughnane. Next we have Trap 3, Croker Spirit for John Croker. This is a very exciting son of Scalarmy Daddy and Bowley's Ace, trained by Jerry Holian. 4 is Ballymac Belvolt, Liam Dowling for the Starboard Out Syndicate, a very strong running son of Vulturian, Ballymac Bell. He'll seek out a rails pitch. 5 Stories, Pee-wee for Mert Lahey and Gavin O'Mahony, a big finisher, a son of Over Limit and Kitty's Box, a very promising type. And out in 6, Ballymac Ariel, owned and trained by Liam Dowling. This star is a daughter of Ballymac Bulger and Ballymac Cameo. Good winner last week. If she hits the lid, she could again take all the beating.
Yeah, well said, Ian. And this is a race. I tell you, if you get the trio right in this, let alone picking the winner, you'll do well, because this is a top race. We're going to start at 3 to follow with Deadly Destroyers in Trap 1 tonight, bidding to give Carl Ramsbottom a little bit of compensation after he was out of luck a little bit earlier. But this lad, he was brilliant last week, because if you were watching on Talking Dogs TV, he came out well, he stumbled, and he still managed to beat Romeo Magico in 29.64. It appears as though tonight's track is running faster than it was last week, so if this lad hits the lids and leads early, well, he'll take an awful lot of beating. He looks as though he's a dog very much going places. Then we've come on to Croker Spirit for John Croker and Jerry Holian. This lad's been in brilliant form. He's only had the 6 runs, but he's won 4 times. He's never been out of the frame. Yes, he's done most of his good run from Trap 1 and Trap 2, so it'll be a bit of a test tonight to see how he can do it from Trap 3. And it'll be interesting to see if him and Deadly Destroyer both manage to hit the lids, what'll lead around the opening 2 turns. And then we come to one of Ireland's most famous and favourite females, Ballymac Ariel. We know she went across the toaster and things didn't quite work out there, and she really hasn't hit the heights of what was expected of her after last year. Remember, she's one of the only bitches in Ireland to break 28 seconds for Shelbourne Park, but we know how good she is, and just last week when she posted 29.55 suggests she just might be on the way back, but tonight will tell a lot. Ian, this is a fascinating race, and we're going to get a lot of Derby clues, I think, in this race alone.
Yeah, well, you'd have to think the 2 or 3 of these are already sort of, in the Derby picture as such. Ballymac Ariel, certainly if she produces anything like her best, it would be very hard to stop. But Deadly Destroyer, hugely impressive last week. As you said, Rob, took that bump early last week, recovered very quickly, and flew down the back straight and home, as he did in the opening round of the Produce Stakes. If you remember that night, he did 28-28, I believe it was, and he did a similar split to most of the dogs on the night and came home 4 or 5 lengths faster than most. So he's clearly very, very strong. Croker Spirit is the unknown quantity as such. We've seen enough of him. We've seen his 6 starts. He's won 4 of them. He has plenty of early speed. He does favour a rails pitch, but the longer run to the corner should suit him over the 550. So don't be surprised if he did take them along. And then we have, of course, Ballymac Belvolt and Stories Pee-wee, both of which will be finishing fast. Bella Medina Roxy. She looked a prospect earlier in the year. She's been thrown in the deep end now in her last few starts. It'd be just interesting to see how she runs. It'd be a bit too much to expect her to really threaten, but she's certainly capable of better than she'd produced last week when she recorded 30.44. Expect her to dip under 30 seconds very shortly, but cracking race. Really, really looking forward to this one.
Okay, I believe they're going to Traps for this mouth-watering 5th race, and remember, we'll be keeping up to date with everything that happens in Toaster. We've got the 2 Derby Plate semi-finals. just before 9 o'clock, and then obviously the 2 Derby semi-finals as well. Potentially a big night in the cards for the Irish trained Greyhounds. Hopefully we can win all 4 semi-finals, and Ian will be keeping us up to date with what happens there. And remember, we still have this heat and the next heat of the in fact, this is the last of the heats of the Champion Open 550, but we get straight into the Corn Cuchulainn action. And if you think the Shelbourne Open Champion 550 is good, wait till you see the 6-bend action we've had. Last week was stunning stuff, and we've got some mouth-watering battles and clashes coming up. And remember, both finals of the Shelbourne Champion 550 and the Corn Cuchulainn will be live on Racing Post Greyhound TV in a couple of weeks' time, and then they're back here again at Shelbourne 2 weeks after that for the final of the Boyle Sports Champion Stakes. The next few weeks in Irish Greyhound racing is really hitting top gear. Right, Ian, we're nearly all set.
Yeah, indeed, the runners all in traps now for this third heat of the Shelbourne Champion 550, and there is the bell. The runners: 1 Deadly Destroyer, 2 Bellamedina Roxy, 3 Croker Spirit, 4 Ballymac Belvolt, 5 is Stories Pee-wee, and 6 is Ballymac Ariel. Here, well on the way now for this 5th race, heat 3 of the Shelbourne Champion, and away they go, and 3 dives inwards. Croker Spirit and 6 Ballymac Ariel gets loose on the outside, and she sweeps around the corner by about a length and a half to in second. 3 Croker Spirit, then comes 1 Deadly Destroyer, and 5 Stories Pee-wee. Out the back is 4 Ballymac Belvolt, but at 6 Ballymac Ariel continues to set a blistering gallop to that third bend. 17.09, a hell of a run. In second is 3 Croker Spirit. 1 Deadly Destroyer starting to wind up his challenge. He could challenge for second, but up front it's all about trap 6 Ballymac Ariel. Very impressive. It's actually very tight for the minor placings. 5 Stories Pee-wee came out of the clouds to maybe grab second. We'll leave that to the judge, along with Deadly Destroyer and Croker Spirit. Croker Spirit perhaps in second or third. The winning time 29.42, but a fine display by Ballymac Ariel.
Absolutely. We've about 120 people here in Shelbourne Park, but there's no doubt about the happiest man in Shelbourne is the man who's just called Ballymac Ariel the winner. She's come away well, but it was her early pace which put this to bed. Deadly Destroyer's come out okay. Himself and Croker Spirit got in a bit of a buckle early on, which didn't really help matters, but in fairness, I don't think either of them would ever have beaten Ballymac Ariel the form she's shown tonight. She's absolutely blitzed them to the third bend, and off that final bend she certainly isn't stopping, and we saw signs of her returning to her best last week, and she's gone even better tonight. We said the track is running probably a little bit better than it was last week. 29.42. Ian, she might not be at her very best, but she's close to it by the looks of it.
Yeah, she's just stepping forward with each run here at Shelbourne Park. If she was mine, do you know what? I don't think I'd move her out of here, to be honest. She does seem happy around here. The switch to the wide seat, I was a bit suspect. It worked in her favour there. She had slow enough starters in 4 and 5, but she really raced into that opening corner. She was aided, of course, by Croker Spirit taking a dive left at box as he held up the inside 2. Deadly Destroyer looked like he was certainly going to be second around the 3rd and 4th bends, but didn't find an awful lot up the home straight. And you see Stories Pee-wee arriving with a rush on the outside. It's very close for the minor placings. The camera angle is very deceptive here. If you are on the wide outside, you're often a good length further up than it actually looks. They're after calling the result. I didn't quite hear it, but all I know is that Ballymac Ariel was the winner.
Absolutely, and that's the last of the quarter-finals, so we know the 12 Greyhounds in the semi-finals. We don't really need to see the draw because I don't think any of the big guns have been knocked out. 29.42 to 29.50 are the winning times of the 3 quarter-finals. We're set for a big night next week on those 2 semis alone.
No question about that. The result came in 6.35, so Croker Spirit held on for second, and it was Stories Pee-wee who came from out of the clouds to grab a third. He's caught my eye now both tonight and last week. He's a dog for the future.
Yeah, and of course with the first 4 going through, Deadly Destroyer, even though he didn't finish third, he will be in the hat for the semi-finals next week. Right, let's get straight to Curraheen, the parading for the next.
Michael Desmond as well, the owner of Trap 2 Optic Ninja. Strides Banjo is in 3 for Alan Brazier from Kilsheelan, and Sharon Hunt is the trainer, twice a winner from 4. That's 4 now. Mallows Stormzy. Mallows Stormzy is owned by Larry O'Rourke, and Tom Morris Rowe from Ascot, and Graham Holland's the trainer, middle seed with 4 wins. Then comes 5, Dramana Fury, and Gerald O'Brien and Garrod O'Brien are the owners. Garrod also trains here. That's 5, Dramana Fury, a middle seed with 4 wins. And 6 is Fleetwood Brody. David Harrington, Carrigaline, the owner. Nice card, this greyhound. 3 wins from the 5 races he has run. Middle seed in the outside trap, -2. Now, it's an A2 grade, and it's the We Lover Greyhounds 525, parading now for this one, and racing in 3 minutes here. 3 minutes, they will race.
Yeah, thanks for that, Serena. An A2 contest coming up, and we're going to have our 3 to follow. And we're going to start with Trap 2, Optic Ninja for Thomas Cashman and Michael Desmond, trained by Michael Hoy. A one-time winner from 9 starts, but in fairness to the son of Sparta Maestro, he never seems to run a bad race. He's been placed further 6 times, and again, if you're doing the trio, he's possibly one to stick in there. Next of our 3 to follow is Dramana Fury in Trap 5 for Gerard O'Brien and Gerard O'Brien, trained by Garrod, a 4-time winner from 11 starts. Starts and stays this son of Eden the Kid, and if he can reproduce any of his 28.91 or 28.98 runs, you'd have thought he might take a little bit of beating. And the last of our 3 to follow, again, this lad's got a big chance, and it's Fleetwood Brody for David Hartigan in Carrigaline. Now, he's a 3-time winner from 5 starts, but he recorded a really good 17.77 for the sprint. He's done a couple of decent runs for the 5.25. He clearly has plenty of good early pace. He is stepping up in grade, but he looks as though he's one for to be up there early on, and being a middle seed, he just might benefit from the draw here. But Joe, it's an A2 contest coming up, and a fairly competitive one.
Very, very competitive, Robin. Although it's an A2 contest, it definitely has a touch of class about it. I'm drawn immediately to the black jacket of Malloch Stormzy, of course, owned by Larry O'Rourke, Thomas Rowan, trained by Mr. Graham Holland. This greyhound ran very, very well in the Kirby Memorial earlier on this year in Limerick, actually winning a round of it in 28.70. On that occasion, it finished in 12.25 from the third bend home. So certainly Malloch Stormzy is a greyhound who stays. I was present in Clonmel when it won in 30.44 as well for the 5.50. If he can get its trap and boots right tonight, Malloch Stormzy will be definitely in for a finish of perhaps winning this race. Dramana Fury, of course, runs for the O'Brien family, victorious in 28.98 around Cork recently. Came home on that occasion in 12.33, so definitely a greyhound who can stay from the third bend home, and has a flicker of early pace as well, with some nice runs like 2.92 around Clonmel for its early sectional, so sure to be there or thereabouts, given that it's starts and stays. From Trap 6, of course, Fleetwood Brody for David Harrington of Carrigaline has a nice 17.77, which is an SO time trial on its most recent visit to the track. 5 starts and 3 wins. Very, very nice strike rate, and certainly has lethal early pace. Has 3.36 sectional done around Cork, so a repeat of that early sectional will give it a massive advantage driving in to the opening corner. It's a very, very exciting A2 race here, and as you said, a touch of class about it. Optic Ninja is another greyhound who can start and stay as well, coming home at 12.26. If I had to pick one for this race, I'd probably go for Trap 4, Malloch Stormzy, but it's very, very wide open. We're heading over to Serena now for the commentary.
Number 5. Okay, we have the flag, the hare, and here we go. 5th of the night. Counter Robbie, Optic Ninja, Strides Banjo, Malloch Stormzy, Dramana Fury, Fleetwood Brody. Traps up, off they go. They're racing. They're fairly level past the judge. 3 shows, then 6 shows on the outside. Fleetwood Brody. They'll get to the bend. 3 and 6 together into the second bend, and into the back they go. 4s and third now. It's 6 Fleetwood Brody just leading it out. 4 and 3 batted out in second and third as they head in for the next bend. It's still 6 with 4, 3, 5. That's how they go. 4 is running strongly here. Malloch Stormzy is actually flying on the outside. 6 from 4 as they head up for the judge. 6 on the inside and 4. And oh my goodness, what a close finish that is. It may be 4 from 6 and 5. I'm going to wait for the judge on that, because 4 was certainly close there with 6 and 5 coming into it. 28.60, a very nice clock as well.
Yeah, very nice clock as well indeed, and it's definitely the closest finish of the night. I'm sure Joe was rooting for Malloch Stormzy in Trap 4 to see if he's got up. I thought initially he'd got up crossing the line. We take it up where Fleetwood Brody's taking it up off the second bend. Now, we know he's a good sprint greyhound. We weren't too sure if he was going to last out the trip, but he's run well even if he hasn't hung on. At this stage, Malloch Stormzy's making a big challenge around the outside, and Dramana Fury from the clouds is absolutely flying. Just in the closing stages, it looked as though Malloch Stormzy was going to get up quite comfortably. It is fairly tight, Joe. Initially I thought 4 had got up. You're not great at calling photo finishes, but it is our last programme for a couple of weeks, so we might let you call this one.
Well, you know what, Rob? I've been at the bottom of the barrel for calling photo finishes. The only way is up. I'm going to put my neck on the line and say my selection, Mellog Stormzy, won this race. I could be wrong, but I'm putting the neck on the line there. I'm sure Ian Fortune would be delighted if I turn out to be wrong on that occasion. It was a fascinating finish with 6 Fleetwood Brody showing brilliant early pace that it had shown all the way along, with 3:36 sectional done around here in Curraheen Park for the early sectional, and tonight had 3:30, and in fact our result is in. We're waiting for it. Trap number 4 is our winner, Mellog Stormzy, as called now, so you can no longer say I'm no good at photo finishes. A very, very nice performance there by Mellog Stormzy, and victorious in 28.60, so very, very nice performance. 6 Fleetwood Brody ran well, and we must give a massive mention to Dramana Fury for the O'Brien family. Ran on like a train. Very, very exciting prospect indeed. But victory going here to Mellog Stormzy. Well done to Larry O'Rourke, Tom Armstrong and trainer Graham Holland.
Absolutely, yeah. Graham Holland, he can't do anything wrong tonight. He's at a double at Shelbourne and he's on the mark at Curraheen Park. Graham Holland, we know the high expectations he has, and we know he's having winners every week, but it seems as though the Graham Holland kennel are really hitting top gear. Right, back to Shelbourne, because Ian, they're parading for one of the highlights of the night, the opening heat at the Corn Cuchulainn.
He's owned by Sheila Spillane and JJ Fenley, son of Kinloch Bray, and born elite. 1 win from 9 starts to this fellow. Caught the eye in defeat last week. 2 Ballymac Wisdom set the standard last time out. Owned by Liam Dowling, who had a double, a daughter of definite opinion, and Coolavani Angie. 15 times a scorer of this lady. 3 cash return for Brendan Mansell, Peter Kelly, a son of Kinloch Bray, and Peter's Queen. 4 is Redza Regira for Pat Redden, a daughter of Kinloch Bray, and Redza Ruby. And completing your lineup in the striped jacket, we have Price's Jet, Paul Hennessy for Brian and Kathleen Murphy, a son of Droopy's Jet, and Ravenna. It's heat 1 of the Corn Cuchulainn. They're making the way towards traps, just the 5 of them. Trap 5, Droopy's Wyatt, unfortunately a non-runner, but an intriguing contest all the same.
Yes, indeed. We may be without Droopy's Wyatt, who was one of our 3 to follow, but it is most definitely a mouth-watering clash coming up between Ballymac Wisdom and Priceless Jet. Right, so we're going to concentrate on our 2 to follow with no Droopy's Wyatt, and we start with Ballymac Wisdom. Ran a cracker here last week. I'm getting up close home to beat Bull Sports Bingo. He ran a blinder in defeat as well. But we know this lady, she stays. We know she's a regular for the 750s. We know what she can do. She's posted 41.40 around here. Be interesting to see what time she posts if everything goes her way, because we know the track is running well, and it'll be interesting to see if she can go anywhere close to the 41.40. If she gets a clear run, you'd expect her maybe to go a little bit better than last week, but she is I wouldn't say most definitely the one to beat, but she's a worthy favourite. And the second of our 2 to follow, Droopy's Wyatt, obviously doesn't run, so we're going to concentrate on Priceless Jet for Brian and Kathleen Murphy. He's had his I wouldn't say doubters, but there's been a lot of people with the jury is out with Priceless Jet. We know what he can do. He broke the clock over in Toaster. Things didn't go his way in his 750-yard debut here at Shelbourne Park, but he was really good last week when he managed to beat Droopy's Wyatt. Came from behind Droopy's Wyatt on that occasion as well to win in 41.72. There's no Droopy's Wyatt inside him tonight, so he'll have a clear run to the bend. He's a greyhound who might just need a little bit of space. He maybe needs his freedom to be seen at his best, and it'll be interesting to see what he can do and what time he can post if he can get a clear run. But Ian, we might be down to 5, and obviously it's a shame that there's no Droopy's Wyatt, but it's a proper buckle coming up, and if these 2 hit the lids, we're in for a proper duel, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. The absence of Droopy's Wyatt will make a big difference here, because he was capable of playing a big part in the early yards, and the fact that he's not there might just leave the door open for Price's Jet to get loose. And if he does get loose, well, Ballymac Wisdom, as fast as she is, she won't live with him to the 5th bend. It's all a case of whether she can stay close enough to then launch her challenge late, because, you know, for all that Price's Jet is exceptionally fast, his clocks would suggest that, you know, the last 80 or 100 yards are a bit of a struggle for him, but there's no question that he has the pace to really set a strong gallop in this contest. Be interesting to see how Burgess Elite runs. I thought he ran very well in defeat last week, and Redza Regira didn't run too bad either, but no, it's probably going to be between the big 2, Price's Jet in 6 and Ballymac Wisdom in trap 2.
Okay, so it looks an obvious reverse forecast or straight forecast. Are we looking at maybe Burgess Elite to maybe fill the trio?
Yeah, if I was picking one to you know, potentially upset the big 2, it would be Burgess Elite. Well housed in the fence, you know, should avoid traffic and get a clean run in behind him. They did 41.72 last week on its 6-bend debut, not stopping coming to the line, ran really well behind the defending champion Ballymac Kingdom. Did show enough to suggest that it has a future over this trip.
And sections from last week suggest Priceless Jet, if he hits the lids, he's going to lead tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, he did 13.68 as opposed to a 13.73 for Ballymac Wisdom. And Priceless Jet didn't take a flyer. It'd be no surprise to me if he did something like a 13.50 tonight or even quicker. He actually took a bump passing the stands last week as well. So just keep that into, add that into your equation. But no, I'd expect Priceless Jet to get loose on the outside.
Okay, and obviously it looks as though we maybe have a minute or two before they go to traps. We've got the next two quarter-finals coming up as well. Obviously 4 to qualify. Again, with the defending champion is there. It's a great competition. We were talking about it last week, but hopefully we want all the big names to get through to next week's semi-finals.
Yeah, and I can see no reason why they can't, although it could get pretty tight in the final. There's a few little sort of added extras in that contest, but no, intriguing action in the Corn Cuchulainn, no question about it.
Brilliant. Well, we believe they're all in traps, Ian, so enjoy this one.
And so they're all in traps for the opening heat of the 2021 Corn Cuchulainn. This the second round, of course. 4 to qualify. And there is the bell, the runners for this one. In 1, Burgess Elise. In 2, we have Ballymac Wisdom. 3, Cash Return. 4, Redza Regira. 5 is Vacant, and 6 is Priceless Jet. The hare coming up behind boxes. Racing, good start by Trap 3 on the Cash Return, but now 6 Priceless Jet showing fine early speed. Ballymac Wisdom gets badly held up back in 5th spot, and 1 Burgess lead in 4th, but out front in 6 Priceless Jet opens up by 6 lengths over 3 Cash Return, 8 lengths to the third bend, perhaps even more. 3 in 2nd Cash Return. Burgess lead now starts to show plenty of pace into 2nd spot, but out front it's all about 6 Priceless Jet starting to show signs of fatigue already. 1 in 2nd, Burgess Elite trying to bridge the gap. Then comes 3 Cash Return and 2 Ballymac Wisdom moving now in 4th spot, but out front and at 6 Priceless Jet, but he's all out. Here comes 1 Burgess Elite up the inside, and Burgess Elite will launch himself late, get there from 6 Priceless Jet. 3rd was 4 Redza Regira, and Ballymac Wisdom qualifying in 4th. The winning time 41.55. A fine run by Burgess Elite.
A fine run indeed by Burgess Elite. A fine sectional by Priceless Jet, because he's recorded 13.38, which is 30 spots better than he did last week. He's hit the lids. Ian said with no Droopy's wife beside him was going to help. This lad is absolutely flying with just over a circuit to go. And at this stage, we weren't thinking of whether he was going to win or not. We were thinking of how fast could he go, because very few greyhounds in recent months have gone as fast to the third bend as Priceless Jet. But it's at this stage. He's just starting to tire. His stride is starting to shorten. And Burgess Elite, we know he finishes well. We know he sees out the 750-yard trip. And he was treading water as fast as he's gone, and as everything as he's done well. He was treading water. And even in commentary, I think Ian was resigned to the fact that Burgess Elite was going to get up. You mentioned Ian, Ballymac Wisdom managed to qualify. But your thoughts on the early stage of a Priceless Jet, because that's a fairly good sectional. Were you in any doubt he was maybe not going to hold on?
To be honest, I thought he probably would hold on halfway down the back straight, but the stride was notably shorter than it was last week. Now, at the same time, he's clocked faster, so you can't say he's not really getting as well as he was last week. But when you consider the running he did early, he's 8-10 lengths clear at the third bend from Cash Return. Burgess Elite was only 3rd at that point and had to go around Cash Return, and it's clear that he's running like a 750-yard greyhound. He's paced himself, he makes his move down the back straight, and he keeps rolling to the winning line. He gets there in the closing yards, but it did get tight. At this point, I still thought maybe 6 might just pull out a little extra when they straightened up, but no, Burgess Elite was arriving with a wet sail, and 2 dogs battling out the finish, which is relatively unusual over the 6 bends in recent times here at Shelbourne Park. But 2 biggish dogs running out the finish there, and Burgess Elite got there from Priceless Jet. Ballymac Wisdom, it just didn't happen for her tonight. You'd have to forgive her for the run.
Yeah, she's qualified, which is the most important thing. But 750s never disappoint here at Shelbourne, and we've just had a thrilling finish to the opening quarter-final of the Corn Cuchulainn. Right, as we mentioned, it's a big night in Curraheen Park. We've got the final of the Denis Linehan Solicitors Unraced, and Joe Sheehan, we believe, has caught up with the main sponsor of the night.
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. Thanks, and we're delighted and privileged to be joined by sponsor of this very, very prestigious competition, the Denis Linehan Solicitors Unraced Final. Dennis, it's a privilege to have you with us on a normal night in non-COVID times. If there was a best dressed man competition, I think you'd be in the mix for the top prize.
Yeah, just the benefits of having a wife, I suppose.
Yeah, and you, I guess with your sponsorship, it's very generous, and we must say thanks for that, Dennis. I guess you've been repaid with some real top-class action.
Unbelievable. And I'm delighted with the coverage, and I'm delighted with the standard of dog that seems to be attracted to the stake, you know. Especially this year, but last year it was pretty good as well. As I said yesterday to Barry Drake, Ballymac Cashout was a standout for me last year.
Fantastic combination. And of course, Deadly Destroyer won it, and look what he's gone on to do.
Exactly. It's unreal.
It's great to see it. Curraheen Park always attracts that top class competition down here, and it's all Cork people are very, very proud greyhound racing people.
Oh, they are. It kind of goes with the sporting tradition, I think, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Dennis, you've been coming to Curraheen a long time. Tell us about your own background in greyhound racing.
Well, I suppose my late father and I used to keep dogs together. We used to go to the old track in the Western Road. We had great times there, mind you. And he died in 1993, but since then I've always had a greyhound in my own name every year in training with various people. John Duggan, Shane Murphy, and I had great times with both of them. And I've been very lucky. I don't think I ever had a dog that didn't win.
You're of course well connected to a great friend of mine, Liam Hayes, down in Knocklong, a very shrewd operator.
Liam is a tremendous fellow, and his wife works with me, and Liam is a great trainer and a good fellow.
Absolutely. Dennis, we're delighted to be joined by you on behalf of all the Greyhound community. We extend a sincere thanks for your very generous sponsorship, and we're looking forward to a top class night of action.
Yes, indeed, and it's a pleasure to do it.
Thanks a million, Dennis. Wishing you all the best for the future.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks Dennis, thanks Joe, and it's much appreciated to have big sponsors on big nights like tonight, and hopefully Denis and the crew in Cork have a good night. Right, the Greyhounds they'll be going to Trap shortly, we believe, for the next in Curraheen Park. We've just seen 6-bend action here at Shelbourne Park. We've got 2 more heats of the Corn Cuchulainn to come, but we've got a 6-bend race coming up at Curraheen Park. They've got everything covered tonight, in fairness to them, down at the Munster venue. We've seen a hurdle race, the first ever hurdle race on Talking Dogs TV. We've had an open sprint, we've had an unraced final coming up a little bit later, as Joe was alluding to, and we've got a 750 contest coming up. So we're going to have a look at our 3 to follow for our 6th race here coming up at Curraheen Park. And the first greyhound we're going to talk about is Sporting Rita in Trap 1. She's a daughter of Definite Opinion. She's trained by Jerry Griffin. We presume greyhounds will be going to Trap shortly. She's a 3-time winner from 33 starts. She's recorded 42.62 at Cork. She might have to go better if she is to win here, but she's probably worth including in a tri-cast if we're doing something on that front. Trap 2 is Glendov Kelly. This might be the one to beat. She's a daughter of Kinloch Bray and Sarah So. Of course, she was running here at Shelbourne Park last week when she was no match for Ballymac Kingdom and So. But she could be the likely leader. We know she stays well. She's recorded 42.60 here at Shelbourne Park, and if she's contesting the Corn Cuchulainn, she's dropping down 2 grades here in Curraheen Park. So maybe Glendov Kelly's the one to beat. And the last of our 3 to follow is Cullederry Wings for Cora Doyle in Wexford, trained by Cora. She's managed to win 1 from 14 starts, but 42.38 in Cork gives her a chance. Joe, quick winner before we're set to go.
Yeah, I really like the chances of Cullederry Wings. One to note about Cullederry Wings' form: did a 14.69 sectional in its previous 750. So perhaps I'm going to go for the black jacket of Cullederry Wings. We're heading to Serena for our commentary.
Sporting Rita Glendov Kelly. Reason to cheer Cullederry Wings, our dog Alfie and Galloping Grace. Racing, off they go. First to show, 2 from the inside and 4. 2 and 4 together. Cullederry Wings 4 takes it up from 5 now. That's our dog Alfie. 1 is smart on the rail. They'll go into the second bend and head past the judge for the first time with 4 Cullederry Wings flying up to the next bend. As they do so, 4, 1 and 2 is the order. Into the back straight they will go for the final time, and Cullederry Wings is there, and it's certainly leading a strong race here from 1 and 2 behind, but they'll go for the 5th bend and head for home. It's Cullederry Wings. 1 is back in second, Sporting Rita, and way back there is Glendov Kelly in third. They go for home, still up front, Cullederry Wings all the way, and up for the judge now, and Cullederry Wings takes this comfortably. 4, 1 and 2 is how they finish. 41.99 is the time, and Culledery Wings was very good there for Cora Doyle of County Wexford. Well done, Cora, owner trainer, and 41.99 the time.
Yeah, 41.99 the time. That's a stunning run from Cuchulainn Wings. We managed to get the tri-cast, and in fairness to Joey, he gave us the winner as well. She's come out well, but she's shown really, really good early, and it was between the first two bends that she probably has won this race, because she's put a good 6 lengths between herself and Sporting Rita. A similar gap back to Glendov Kelly back in third, but at this stage there was only going to be one winner. We know she stays. She's recorded 42.38 at Cork, so we know she stays. Maybe just at this stage Sporting Rita looked as though she was going to maybe give her followers a reason to cheer, because she is closing the gap narrowly, but if she hasn't closed it significantly at the top two bends, well, she wasn't going to probably reel in the leader. But Cuchulainn Wings, 41.99. She's improved the best part of 40 spots on her previous run. Joey gave us a winner. We managed to nail the tri-cast, and she looks as though she's a bitch to keep on side in 6 bends.
Yeah, two on the bounce, Rob. We're going well, but very, very nice performance by Cuchulainn Wings. Very, very much so. A touch of class about this bitch, of course. She got to the Michael Fortune Unraced Memorial final down in Enniscorthy, got to the Puppy Oaks final, and also the connections brought her to the Corn Cuchulainn in Shelbourne Park last week, so connections clearly think a lot. And 41.99 the clock was so impressive. Big future for Cuchulainn Wings, who's only September 19 whelp. We must give a big mention to Sporting Rita, who ran very, very well in second place as well.
5 cricket wicket, Donald O'Neill, a daughter of Magical Balin, Minnie's Blandina, and out in 6 is Stories Lala for Gavin O'Mahony, Peter McMunn, trained by Mert Lahey, a daughter of Ballymac Bulger and Ballymac Bonnie. They are the runners. It's Heat 2 of the Corn Cuchulainn.
It is Heat 2 of the Corn Cuchulainn, and a mouth-watering heat coming up. Maybe not the standard that we had with Priceless Jet and Ballymac wins them, even though they didn't manage to win. But it looked at a more open quarter-final when the draw was made last week. Our 3 to follow is going to start with Battle Cry, bidden to give Paul Hennessy a little bit of compensation after Priceless Jet was reeled in the previous race. Now, she managed to get off the mark over 750 last week when beating Bucko's Brandy in 41.76, but that only tells half the story, as Ian will allude to, because Bucko's Brandy, who's the second of our 3 to follow, was very, very unlucky on that occasion. He was a massive eye-catcher, and it'd be no surprise if Bucko's Brandy managed to turn around the form. The bookmakers today certainly suggested or thought that Bucko's Brandy would outturn the form. So Battle Cry is our number 1 in the 3 to follow. Bucko's Brandy is our second one. If she manages to get any sort of clear run tonight, you'd be certainly hopeful that she can reverse the form with Battle Cry and give Graham Holland his 4th winner of the night between here and Curraheen Park. And the last of our 3 to follow is Red Sir Runart. She's another female. In fact, all 6 greyhounds here are female. She's a daughter of Kinloch Bray. She had no luck last week behind Tinnock Phantom, but she is capable of going well here at Shelbourne, because she's covered the 750 in 41.64. And again, if you're getting involved in the trio, we're doing well with the trios tonight, she might be one to put in. But Edie, we're very sweet on Bucko's Brandy last week. She didn't get anything at all going her way, but she was a huge eye-catcher in defeat, and no doubt many will fancy her to reverse the form with Battle Cry.
Yeah, you'd have to fancy her to reverse the form. I assume she's going to be odds-on favourite with the bookmakers downstairs. She looked a real prospect winning the O'Leary's Driving School 750 down at Curraheen Park. And when she came to Shelbourne Park, it was no surprise that it took her a little bit of while to get used to her surroundings. She found a little bit of early crowding, a little bit of early bunching. But for the confidence of the run, the look here at Shelbourne Park, you'd assume she'll be a bit more decisive in her actions around the opening 2 bends. And if doing so, she should be close to the pace pass in the stands. And as we saw last week when she came from a long way off the pace to get close enough to Battle Cry in second spot, well, if she's close tonight, expect her to go to the front and to win pretty comfortably, I'd assume. I think she's a really bright prospect for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. She got a lot of followers down in Curraheen, and she definitely got a few followers last week here in defeat at Shelbourne Park. Ian, we're coming up to the first of the Derby Plates semi-finals. We've got your thoughts, but for those who are just tuning in now, and any word on Wembley? It was about half an hour gone in the England game. Any white smoke?
Yeah, our near neighbours are winning 1-0. Harry Kane.
Wow.
A few minutes in, it was probably about 10 or 15 minutes in. They've started to sit back a bit now, asking Ukraine to press at them, but no, they're 1-0 up, and by all accounts, if they went for the jugular, I'm not sure it's in Gareth Southgate's mindset, but if they went for the jugular, I'd imagine they'd probably win it pretty comfortably, 2 or 3-0. But meanwhile, we'll talk about greyhound racing.
Okay, opening semi-final of the plate is coming up. Is this the one that Glengar Bale's in?
He's in the Opening heat, yeah, you're right. He's racing from trap 5 in the opening heat.
And he was your nap of the night, wasn't he?
He was. I just thought that if he trapped on terms, he couldn't help but lead around the corner. Jack Solution is capable of going up well in trap 2. Angry Tornado was very impressive last week for Peter Cronin, but he's now in trap 1. It's not the bingo box. So just given the fact that Bombardier is in trap 4, he'll be cutting inwards. It's in one of his last ever starts for Pat Buckley because he has been sold. He'll be going to Mark Wallace once he's out of the plate or once he wins it, either or, whichever happens. But Glengar bailed from trap 5. If he traps on level terms, I'd imagine he'll go around 2 in front, and if he does, game over.
And we haven't given Peter Cronin maybe as much coverage as we should, but you mentioned his greyhound here, and he's got Angry Dad in the second semi-final. Obviously he doesn't have a greyhound left in the Derby, but he's done well with his dogs that have gone to Toaster. Every year without fail. He's had 3 Derby finalists over the years. Tinwall, Bish, Whoops Jack and Croker's Champ. You know, 3 very talented greyhounds. But from the outset in those respective derbies, they would have been very big prices. You know, I was sort of scratching my head when I saw the team he was bringing over this year, but he proved me wrong. They all ran very well, and by all accounts, the 2 Angry Dogs, it's an unfortunate name for them. They're not angry, but they're talented. Angry Dad and Angry Tornado, they're both very talented. Angry Dad in particular looks a really bright prospect. He's one to keep an eye on in the coming months. Okay, lovely. You're on the way to traps, so we like Bocco's Brandy to win. What for the forecast? Battle Cry to follow Ramon? Yeah, just don't be surprised now if AK-47 or even Cricket Wicket went close. Battle Cry, if she didn't happen to get to the front early, she just might find herself in a spot of bother. Much will depend on how Bocco's Brandy hits the lids. Well, there's the bell, there's the bell. The runners in traps for this second heat of the Corn Cuchulainn. In 1, Battle Cry. 2, Bocco's Brandy. 3 is Red's Runart. 4, AK-47. 5, Cricket Wicket. And 6 is Stories Lala. The hare coming up behind traps. And racing could start by 2. Bocco's Brandy will lead them into the opening turn. From in second spot, trap 1, Battle Cry. Then comes 6 Stories Lala. 3, and involved in a bit of crowding there, Red's Runart. But out front, and it is 2, Bocco's Brandy. She's racing on by 6 lengths to that third bend. She surely looks home and hosed at this point. In second, 1, Battle Cry. Then comes 4, AK-47 trying his best to close that gap. But out front, it's 2, Bocco's Brandy. She's running on majestically. She's still 7 or 8 lengths clear of. In second, 1, Battle Cry with 4, AK-47 third. But out front, it's all about Bocco's Brandy. She's simply too good for them, and she'll win as she likes. In second is Battle Cry, and back in third was 4, AK-47. The winning time, it's quick, very quick, 41-27. A brilliant run by Bocco's Brandy, a really exciting stayer. Yeah, a brilliant run by a brilliant lady, and she's absolutely pinged the lids, unlike what last week. Obviously she started slow last week, which meant that she got an awful lot of traffic problems, but it was a different story tonight. She's hit the lid, she's managed to lead Battle Cry around the opening 2 bends, and we know she stays a little bit different to Priceless Jet, while he stays the 750. He's not a stout stayer like this lady, as she proved down in Curraheen Park, so there was never any doubt she was going to get picked up by anything in this race. She already leads by 6-7 lengths off the fourth bend, and if anything she was going a little bit further clear of Battle Cry. Her sectional, by the way, 13.54, which is fairly good. It's not as quick as Priceless Jet, but we knew she was in no doubt that she was going to win fairly cosily here, and as Ian said, she's posted a winning time of 41-27, and she's won by the best part of 10 lengths, if not more. Battle Cry's run well in defeat, but she could never compete with Bocco's Brandy, and it might have been Stories Lala who finished third. But Ian, Bocco's Brandy, she obviously made a name for herself down in Cork. We said she caught the eye last week, but she's very much a stayer in the making, and she's one to probably be going to be around for a while. She may not be around for a while in Ireland, however. I think she is destined to go to the UK. So, keep an eye on that. She'll be a star over 6 and 8 bends in the UK, I have no doubt. But before then, she's a serious player in this Corn Cuchulainn, and you can be sure of that. She went 4 lengths faster to the winning line this week than she did last week, and she was considerably faster at the finishing line also. So, tremendous start by her, and she was just relentless out front. There was just no signs of any weakness. Battle Cry runs so well again in second spot, and 4 was actually third, AK-47. But an awful lot to like about Bocco's Brandy. She really is pretty strong, and a very, very talented stayer. Yeah, it'll take a good one to beat her in this competition if she keeps up that form. There's no doubt about that. Straight to Curraheen Park, they're on parade.
Then comes 3, Filane Flyer. Paul Fenner from Castletown Bear is the owner and has 3 wins already. The 4 dog is Quiet Getaway. And Quiet Getaway runs from 4 for Kevin Curtin and Tony O'Sullivan. And they had a nice win earlier with Kitty. And well done to you. And twice this one's been a winner. Quiet Getaway. Bun Beg is in 5 here for John O'Connor and Brendan Dudley from Kenmare and Ray Fleming trainer. 3 times a winner. And 6 is gone through there. And that is Marguerite and John O'Donoghue's Broken Highway with 4 wins already. OK. They're the Greyhounds for the 7th race of the night. It's a 5:50 this time.
Yeah, it is a 550 indeed. It's an A1 550. The Greyhounds make Great Pets 550, and we're going to start our 3 to follow with a Trap 1 Magical Poppy now. Plenty will know Magical Poppy. She's featured on Talking Dogs TV on a couple of occasions. She ran here in the Puppy Oaks earlier in the year. She was very impressive in the first round. Things didn't quite work out after that. Then she went down to Limerick for the Limerick Oaks when she was taking on the likes of Scooby Princess and co. Maybe she's been a little bit disappointed. Maybe she hasn't hit the heights that Pat Guilfoyle and co were thinking she might, but she's got a good opportunity to bounce back here. She's got a good draw. She did a good run here at Shelbourne Park in Trap 1, and if she can manage to hit the lid, she might take a little bit of beating. And of course Pat Guilfoyle in brilliant form. The second of our 3 to follow is Filane Flyer for Paul Fenner in Castletown Bear, 3-time winner from 14 starts. Made all of Curraheen Park to win in 28.76 on his most recent start. He might need to go a little bit better. Obviously it's 550, but he might need to improve on last week's run if he is to collect here. But he most definitely is one to include in the forecast, or indeed the trio. And the last of our 3 to follow is the 6th of our inside seeds. We've got 6 inside seeds here. Brogan Highway for John O'Donoghue and Margaret O'Donoghue, a 4-time winner from 24 starts. Unlike Magical Poppy and Filane Flyer, this son of Skywalker Puma does his best work from halfway. If he's anyway close at halfway, he's got a big chance, and he's recorded 28.85 for the 5.25 and 30.02 for the 5.50. So the action's getting better as the night goes on, Joe, and it's certainly getting less easier to pick a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going well at the moment, so hopefully we can pop another winner here. My idea, the most likely winner here, was Trap 1, Magical Poppy, of course, owned by Donald Guilfoyle and trained by Mr. Patrick Guilfoyle. His kennel is in flying form at the moment. In Limerick, on debut, Magical Poppy recorded a 28.69 clock. On that occasion, it finished in 12.34 from the third bend home, which suggests the Magical Poppy should stay, and the 5.50 trip should definitely suit. Has that 28.52 run in Shelbourne as well, so certainly a touchy class about the red jacket of Magical Poppy here, but it's a very, very close race. Certainly the likes of Brogan Highway in the stripes of Trap 6, although it hasn't won since November 2020, has some very nice runs to its credit. The likes of 28.50 and 28.77 victories recorded down here in Curraheen Park. Quiet Getaway has some very, very nice runs to its credit as well. 28.75 around Tralee, so a touch of class about that one as well. Bun Beg, of course, trained by Ray Fleming, has 16 starts and 3 wins, but is quite a consistent sort. Galvarino, trained by local man Johnny Linehan. Well, he really is a top class trainer, and I think Galvarino could be the one to put it up to Magical Poppy here. Victorious last time out in 42.55 for the 750, so got a good pipe opener there, and if this Galvarino breaks, could definitely be there at the business end of things. But my selection here is still Magical Poppy from the red jacket from Trap 1, while we head over to Serena now for our commentary of our 7th race here in Curraheen Park.
Okay. Now the flag is up for this one. It's Magical Poppy, Galvarino, Filane Flyer, Quiet Getaway, Bunbeg and Broken Highway. Racing in the 5.50, quick start from 4 in the centre. 4 goes to the first bend. It's Quiet Getaway up to the first bend from trouble there for 1. He goes a little wide and into the back. It's 2 is second now. It's 4 from 2 and 2 Galvarinos making an impression on Quiet Getaway. Into the third bend they go and passes by 2-4-1 or 2-4-5 is the order, and Galvarino goes in for the last bend, heading for home for John Linehan. And as they do so, up for the judge they will go. 2's very strong running home. 2, 4 and 5 is how they finish, and it's up front. 2 is Galvarino from Quiet Getaway, and then was Bunbeg, and 29.73, a very respectable run as well.
Very respectable run as well. We'll have another look now. It was trap 4, Quite Getaway, who was best into stride. 6, Broken Highway broke well. I thought at this stage, if he got round the opening 2 bends, he'd be a big player, but loads of traffic problems, and that meant that Galvarino had a big chance, because he came here after winning over 750 yards, and if he was anyway close at halfway, he was going to be the most likely winner. And he's taken it up going into the 3rd bend, and he's put quite a bit of distance between himself and Quite Getaway and co. And the further he's going, the further he's going to win. And as you heard in commentary with Serena, he's done a fairly good time. And Joe, that's a double for John Linehan tonight, because he won the opening race here at Shelbourne Park, and he's just won that 7th race as a local venue.
Yeah, and a local trainer here. He really is a top class trainer. And I went to college with Johnny's nephew Mark, and of course the Linehan's a fantastic Greyhound family, so wonderful success here. Very, very nice performance by Galvarino. And of course we must give a big mention to the owners, the Step Into My Office syndicate, of course, headed by Podge Murphy and a great crew from Boeing. They've had a lot of success this year with the likes of Broke with Hope as well, who put in some fantastic runs down in the all track this year. So they have plenty of Greyhounds, very exciting prospects at the moment. Galvarino was really a different class up the back straight, just went past him with exceptional ease, and has managed to do a nice clock in the end, 29.73. Of course, John Linehan brought this Greyhound to the Produce Stakes in Clonmel this year, so when Johnny Linehan travels with a Greyhound like this, you really know he thinks an awful lot of it. So well done there to John Linehan. And a Step Into My Office syndicate, winners of our 7th race here in Curraheen Park with Galvarino.
Yeah, thanks for that, Joe. Right, straight to the parade here at Shelbourne, because it's the final heat of the Corn Cuchulainn, and Ian Fortune, it features the defending champion.
Yeah, red hot final heat of the Corn Cuchulainn 2nd round, and first up in red is the defending champion, Ballymac Kingdom for Liam Dowling. Brilliance on a definite opinion, Coulivanny Angie with an ideal draw. 2, Ballymac Juliet, 2nd runner for Liam Dowling, a daughter of Vulturian, Ballymac Breeze. 3, Tinnock Phantom. Tremendous winner for Michael Devereux last week, daughter of Ballymac Vic and Glen Lee. 4 on your card is Boyle Sports Bingo, a dog with blistering early speed and tremendous 4-bend pace, owned by Liam Boyle and John Boyle, trained by Paul Hennessy, a son of Superior Product, and Glen Lee certain to be prominent. 5, Almighty Paddy for Ger Purcell, son of Skywalker Farlow and Pine Candy. And 6 is Ripley Lad, owned by Austin Kelly, care of agent Paddy McCormick, the Iron Man from Road, a son of Droopy's Cane and Fork Lightning. It's your 8th race, the 3rd heat, the 3rd of the 2nd round heats of the Corn Cuchulainn. They're making their way towards traps. Not long left to get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're getting involved in the trio, by the way, in the Bark and Buzz app, the trio is guaranteed for €500 in this 8th race. It's a big pot, but if you manage to win it, you'll do well, because it's a mouth-watering heat. Probably we're saving the best till last. The first of our 3 to follow that we're going to concentrate on, no surprise here, it is the defending champion Ballymac Kingdom, who managed to win here last week in 41.62. Maybe not at his best last week. We know he can do better, because he's recorded 41.27 at Shelbourne, but he just might be a bit more riper tonight. He might be better, and a better start means he might be the one to beat. He's got a good draw in Trap 1. Beside him is his kennel companion Ballymac Juliet. Of course, she returned to 750 last week when recording 41.97 behind Ballymac Kingdom. She's got 5 lengths to make up on her kennel companion, and if Ballymac Kingdom anyway is close between the first 2 bends to Ballymac Juliet, well, you'd be worried that she will reverse the form. Trap 3 is Tinnock Phantom, which is one of last week's winners, but the last of our 3 to follow is maybe the most likely early pace setter, Boyle Sports Bingo. He's run really well in his only 2 750s to date. He won in 41.70, beating Ballymac Wisdom and Priceless Jet, and last week he was nailed on the line in an absolute cracker against Ballymac Wisdom. But the key is, if he can hit the lids early on, it'll be interesting to see, can he go anywhere close to Priceless Jet's 13.38 sectional, because the track looks as though it's going a little bit faster tonight. He is in Trap 4 as well, which mightn't be a bad thing. He was in Trap 4 last week when he led in the early stages, and that's only 3 to follow. We've got Tinnock Phantom, one of last week's winners. We've got Almighty Paddy, and we've got Ripley Lad. Ian Fortune, this is an absolute cracker.
This contest to look forward to here. Obviously, the defending champion Ballymac Kingdom is probably the one to beat. I'd like to see him starting a little bit better than he did last week. Ballymac Juliet raced up around his outside to take it up, but I have a feeling Ballymac Kingdom should have her measure if he did hit the lids, and if he did turn a very close second to Boyle Sports Bingo, who it really does look the likely leader, that we'd have a good race on our hands, but I think Ballymac Kingdom would just a fraction too strong for Boyle Sports Bingo. But, stranger things have happened. It is quality contest. Tinnock Phantom ran very well last week off the front. Almighty Paddy didn't get involved early. He can go up a little bit better. Ripley Ladd is capable of really putting a pace to the race if he produces his very best form. He's sort of almost forgotten in this contest, but a very talented tracker. He's getting on a bit now. He's hitting veteran status, but certainly capable of racing prominently in the early yards, and one to keep an eye on, as too is Ballymac Juliet. Just as an intriguing contest, but if you had to pick two against the field, they would be Ballymac Kingdom and probably Boyle Sports Bingo.
The fact that we've got the trio for €500, throw in one for the trio.
1, 4 and maybe put in Almighty Paddy, because he's not as dependent on an early lead as the other three.
Okay, 1, 4 and 5. And any news from Toaster, the opening semi-final of the plate?
I'm afraid my nap was turned over. Glengar Bale missed the kick. He was trying to get involved into the bend, but no, was never really at the races. And it was Angry Tornado that came through to win for Peter Cronin. Took it up off the final bend. Had to dig in deep to contain the strong challenge of Fat Boy Storm in the closing yards. But no, plenty to like about Angry Tornado. Very impressive winner.
Okay, one up for Ireland. Hopefully we'll win the next 3 races at Toaster. Right, as you can see, they are loading for the last of the Corn Cuchulainn heats, but we're not done there at Shelbourne Park, because we've got plenty of action still to come. A brilliant supporting card. We've got a mini open, 2 semi-finals of that, and then we finish off with a couple of open races. The last race is most worth the wait. You can be sure about that. And of course, we'll be getting to Curraheen Park shortly, because the main event is still to come in Cork. It's the Denis Linehan Solicitors Unraced final. 2 Greyhounds are 2 from 2, so one Greyhound will get their at least one Greyhound will have their unbeaten record torn to shreds. But it's a fascinating race coming up at Curraheen Park, and it's not far away. But let's get to the 750 here at Shelbourne.
And so Heat 3 of the second round of the Corn Cuchulainn. 1.5 laps of the circuit ahead of them. 1 Ballymac Kingdom, 2 Ballymac Juliet, 3 Tinnock Phantom, 4 Boyle Sports Bingo, 5 is Almighty Paddy, and out in 6 is Ripley Ladd. An intriguing contest. The Greyhounds all set, hair up behind boxes. Racing, good start by Trap 3 in the middle. Tinnock Phantom challenged by 4. Boyle Sports Bingo and 1 Ballymac Kingdom perfectly poised in third, but out front in 3. Tinnock Phantom sets a strong gallop now for Boyle Sports Bingo. Tries to use his 4-bend speed to strike the front, and indeed he just shows narrowly in front, but Tinnock Phantom very gutsy on the inside, repels the challenge of Boyle Sports Bingo. Ballymac Kingdom back in third and poised. Then comes 2 Ballymac Juliet, but down into the 5th bend, and there goes Ballymac Kingdom. He hits the front and races on by 2 lengths. 2 in second, 3 Tinnock Phantom and 4 Boyle Sports Bingo. But off the final turn, it is Trap 1 Ballymac Kingdom racing on to score from in second spot. 3 Tinnock Phantom, and looks like 2 Ballymac Juliet got third. The winning time 41.42. Another quick time, this time by Ballymac Kingdom, the defending champion.
Yeah, absolutely. The defending champion is the defending champion for a reason. He's 2 from 2 in the Corn Cuchulainn, and he most definitely is still the Greyhound to beat. We'll watch the first replay. We were expecting Boyle Sports Bingo to get a flyer. He didn't come away as well as he has the last couple of weeks, and it was Tinnock Phantom who led them in the early stride from Boyle Sports Bingo. But Ballymac Kingdom had a perfect pitch around the opening 2 bends, just ahead of Ballymac Juliet. And the fact that Boyle Sports Bingo and Tinnock Phantom were in this tussle, they weren't doing themselves any favours. This was setting it up for Ballymac Kingdom the whole time, and at this stage there was only going to be one winner. Halfway down the back the second time, the gap opens up, and there goes Ballymac Kingdom up the inside, leads at the 5th bend, and it was going to be a matter of how far, and that's exactly what's happened. He's pulled away from the remainder of the final bend. Tinnock Phantom's run well. Boyle Sports Bingo has managed to hang on, and Ballymac Juliet has qualified as well. But Ian, I suppose if Connections could write a race beforehand with Ballymac Kingdom, they probably would have scripted it like that, because Tinnock Phantom and Boyle Sports Bingo set up the race lovely for him.
Yeah, they did. I assume if you're Ballymac Kingdom, you'd like to see him away and gone. But in the overall scheme of things, he was on the fence. All he had to do was sit pretty, bide his time, and the front 2 had a good old tussle. They did each other's chances, no good. Boyle Sports Bingo challenged here. Tinnock Phantom coming back them. They got involved very early in the race, and as you can see down the back straight 1, Ballymac Kingdom had the gap up the fence, and he just, every night, this is where he makes his move in the 750s. He really flies down into that 5th bend, and for all intents and purposes, it doesn't look like he's staying on all that strongly. I suppose that's purely down to the size of him. He just looks a bit ungainly up the run-in, but 41-42 suggests he's staying every single inch of the running, and he goes on to score from Tinnock Phantom. And Ballymac Juliet, the defending champion, remains unbeaten.
Yeah, there's no doubt you definitely stay 750 if you're doing 41-42 or something like that. Right, they're on parade. We're hearing for the next down in Limerick, down in Cork.
3. The Black Greyhound there, she's in 3. Penny Lane Sheba is in 4 for the Penny Lane Syndicate, care of Niamh McKenna with 2 wins and -1. Amazing Alice is in 5 for Patrick Guilfoyle from County Tipperary, and that Greyhound, she's had 10 wins. She runs in 5. And then comes 6, which is Ethiopia for Edel Toomey from Middleton with 9 wins and lots of placings. And this is the 8th race of the evening. Again, a reminder, trap 1 is vacant here. Trio pool guarantee €100. If you want to do that bet, please do so. And the Greyhounds will race in about 3.5 minutes here. This is the 8th race on the card. Another 550. So just a slightly longer distance from the furthest left-hand side traps there as you look out. Right, this is it. They'll parade now, and 3 minutes they will race.
Yeah, thanks for that, Serena. Speaking of the trio, for €1, the trio here at Shelbourne Park just paid €60, so it's worth getting involved in. If you can manage to click with a couple of trios like that, well, you'll have a good few weekends coming up. Right, we're going to have our 3 to follow for this Open 550. It's a really good Open 550 down in Curraheen Park. We're going to start with Fabulous Azura in trap 1 for David Firminger. Graham Holland can't do anything wrong tonight. His kennel in absolute flying form. Fabulous Azura was contesting the Colin Kirby at Limerick earlier in the year, and still managed to post a sprint trial of 16:49 despite getting balked on that occasion. So that suggests that she can go better, and that suggests she could be the early leader here. So Fabulous Azura with a good draw, she might be one to make all if you do fancy her chances. In 3 is Sidewinder for Kevin Rooney and James O'Regan. Of course, was a winner on Talking Dogs TV a couple of weeks ago when we were down in Tralee. On that occasion, showed good early pace and stayed on well to win in 28:42. He has run a Cork in the past. He trialled at Cork before he raced, so she did. So she knows Cork, and it'll be interesting to see how she fares on her return to Curraheen Park. And the last of her 3 to follow is the Cesarewitch winner, Amazing Alice for Patrick Guilfoyle, a 10-time winner from 22 starts. Of course, she contested the Race of Champions down in Tralee when she was 3rd to Ballymac Belleville. On her best form, she probably is the one to beat, and it'll be nice to see her return to winning ways if she can do so. She has posted a time of 28:48 here at Cork, but Joe, this is a really good open race before the main event, and it'll take plenty of winning.
Yeah, definitely, Rob. These are literally the top class pitches in the country. I've managed to do it again, though. I never sent you on the non-runner, which was, in my defence, it came in late. Fabulous Azura, unfortunately, a non-runner in this race, but 5 other really cream of the crop pitches to look forward to here. Amazing Alice. Well, I seen her advertised on Greyhound Data a number of weeks ago, and if I had the bank account large enough, I would have probably put in a bid. She is amazing by name and certainly amazing by nature. She posted a 27:98 trial down in Tralee prior to the Race of Champions. She ran very well down there, finishing 3rd, but unfortunately only 2 qualified from each of those 3 semi-finals. She's a fantastic bitch. Of course, she won the Cesarewitch in Mullingar, and that 27:98 trial was really phenomenal. The only thing that could be her downfall is perhaps her lack of early pace. Only a 3:17 split on that occasion. She really needs to book up her trapping, but she should probably have enough for this company. Sidewinder is one I really like as well for Kevin Rooney and James O'Regan. Was very impressive in top class company, coming home in 13:94 on that occasion to release. So Sidewinder, expect this one to be finishing very, very strongly. I feel like the race is probably between those 2, and we're heading over to Serena now for commentary of our 8th race here in Curraheen Park.
Flag goes up. Right, here we go. Here in action here. Non-runner 1, Ardra, Pearl 2, Sidewinder, Penny Lane, Sheba, Amazing Alison, which is Ethiopia. Racing, away they go in the 550. First it shows 2 moving wide to the first bend. It's 2 Ardra Pearl, gets to the first bend from 3. Nice bend there from 2, 2, 3 and 6 down the back straight as they head down to the third bend. Ardra Pearl goes on from Sidewinder, and then 4 is in third now. Penny Lane Sheba doing a bit of running. 2, 3 and 4 the order. It's still Ardra Pearl for John Kiley up front. Rashenda Kelly as they go for home into the last bend and up for the judge. 2 on the outside, and Ardra Pearl is very good in this one. Close enough there for the second and third spot to 29.66 the time. Good going indeed, and Ardra Pearl was very good. She has been excellent. Little bit of
very good run indeed from Ardra Pearl. Obviously she was helped by, well, when I say she was helped by no Fabulous Azura to her left, it didn't really matter because she's gone straight to her right when she's come out, but it was her early pace which meant that she didn't really have any traffic problems, and she somehow manages to clear everything and lead around the opening 2 bend. She's still in front at the third bend. Sidewinder is trying to put it up to her. I thought at this stage Amazing Alice might be a big danger to the one in front, but she just hasn't really maybe stayed on like we thought in the end, and she's only managed to hang on for third. But Ardra Pearl for Rachenda Kelly and Youall, trained by John Kiley, and a good performance, Joe, because she's managed to do that despite running a bit wide.
Yeah, absolutely. 29.66 here by Ardra Pearl was a very, very nice clock, and well done to Rachenda Kelly and John Kiley. The connections of the winner there. John Kiley, of course, is a very, very talented trainer. This greyhound now has 39 runs and 12 wins, which is a very, very good strike rate. But before coming into this race, had the likes of 28.47 done around Youall, and as Barry Drake will love to hear, if you can do time in Youall, you can certainly do it anywhere. Had 28.22 on its card as well, so certainly not a surprise to see Ardra Pearl winning. Amazing Alice, unfortunately, we alluded to it before the race. Sometimes her trapping boots isn't up to scratch, but she's a phenomenally fast bitch and definitely has a very exciting future ahead. And Sidewinder ran with great credit for James O'Regan, of course, won the Unraced down in Tralee. Well done to all connections of Trap 2, Ardra Pearl, winner of our 8th race here in Curraheen Park.
Yeah, thanks for that, Joe. Right, back to Shelbourne Park. Azine, they're on parade for the first semi-final of the Open 525, Mini Open 525.
Yeah, they sure are. The runners now about to parade for this opening semi-final of the Rostiach Conaire Open 525. One is Cousins Big Red, owned by James Light, a son of Ballymac Vic and Pike Hill Patch. 2 in your card, Run Bolt for Pat Norris, owned by Pat himself and Mark Lowther, a son of Bull Run Bolton to bet. 3 is Razzle Dazzle Peaky, Neil O'Connell for the Kildare Kilcolgan Syndicate, a son of Makeshift and Razzle Dazzle Prue. 4 is Zoom, owned by the Club of Champions Syndicate, care of Gavin O'Mahony. This one trained by Mert Lahey, a son of Coolavani Jap and Droopy's Dorothy. 5 Salmic Sunset for Pat Guilfoyle and Michael Mackey, a son of Good News, Mystical Mall. And 6 Massachusetts, owned by Tamara Butler, a son of Good News and Tullivan Fire. It is your 9th race here this evening. Greyhounds making the way towards traps. An intriguing contest.
Yeah, an intriguing and competitive contest to say the least. You'll do well to pick the winner here, let alone get a forecast or a tricast. But we're going to try and help you out, and our treat to follow is going to start with Trap 3 Razzle Dazzle Peaky for the Kildare Kilcolgan Syndicate. No doubt the lads are tuning in like they do most weeks. Trained by Neelis O'Connell, a 9-time winner from 57 starts. On his best form, he is probably the class act here. He is a little bit hit and miss of late. Obviously he's getting on, but he takes a significant step down in grade from the likes of the races that he has been running in, and if he was to bounce back, Razzle Dazzle Peaky would have a big chance here. Second of our 3 to follow is Salmic Sunset for Michael Mackey and Patrick Guilfoyle. This lad's been on Talking Dogs TV the last couple of weeks. He's 4 from 8. Haven't really seen the best of him maybe last week, but he did make all to win in 28.58 when beating Ben Medina Roxy, and he might need to improve if he is to win this, but he is worthy of a mention, Salmic Sunset. And then we come to Trap 6, Massachusetts for Tamara Butler, a 3-time winner from 20 starts, but that only tells half the story of this son of Good News, John, because he's very talented. He's posted some really good runs here at Shelbourne Park, and he might just have come on from his recent run behind Oran Don here, which was a couple of weeks ago, and he's well housed in Trap 6. But Ian, this is competitive, and you'll do well if you to pick the winner here, or maybe not. Maybe you've got a standout for us.
I'm not sure I have a standout, but I'm not sure most of them are 5.25 yard dogs. One that certainly is a zoom in trap 4. I thought if he trapped on terms, he would zoom to the front. He has brilliant early speed, and it just wouldn't surprise me if he bowled along clear down the back straight and perhaps held on. An interesting runner is trap 2 Bull or Run Bolt. Did show massive promise here on March 6th in 29.13, but we came back a week later expecting him to do a 28, 30 or 40 type run. He's been off the track since, disappointing in that mini final. So I just wonder, has he had problems? But a 17.50 trial last time out in Cork would suggest that he's probably coming right. If I was to pick a couple, maybe those would be the two, Zoom and Run Bolt. Zoom because he'll be in front, Run Bolt because he has the promise. Razzle Dazzle Peaky, of course, is well established. I think 5.25 is too sharp for him these days. Salmic Sunset's a nice type. He'll go up well and he stays. But I just don't think he'll lead for Zoom. And Massachusetts, it never really happened for him here at Shelbourne. Maybe a couple of good trial runs, but never really in races has he impressed. So no, I'll stick with my two, Zoom to beat Run Bolt.
Okay, and have we news of a double for Peter Cronin and Toaster?
I'm afraid we don't. Angry Dad completely walked out of traps, completely fluffed the lines. Our two favourites in both semi-finals completely walked out, and Angry Dad, while he did make up eye-catching ground, he was only 5th in the finish. So unfortunately, I think it's just one Irish runner in the plate final next week. That will be Angry Tornado on the back of a success for Peter Cronin.
And still 1-0 to England?
It's half-time.
Half-time, okay, lovely stuff. And Limerick, by the way, have beaten Cork by 8 points in the hurling, so the best of luck to Joe if he's going to try and get out of Curraheen Park safe and sound tonight. Right, they're loading for this 9th race, as you can see. The action's continuing to be top class here at Shelbourne Park. And remember, the next race in Curraheen Park is the big one, the final of the Denis Linehan Solicitors Unraced final. 2 Greyhounds are unbeaten, but it'll take fair winning. And as soon as we get the couple of replays done here at Shelbourne, we'll be getting straight to Joe for his take on the big final. But loading underway, wide open contest. Maybe Run Bolt and Zoom throw in Massachusetts maybe for doing the trio, because the trios have been paying well here tonight at Shelbourne Park. Last couple going in for race 9.
Yeah, indeed, the last couple now being placed in the boxes for the 9th race tonight. The opening semi-final of the Rossiach Conaireann, open 5.25. Hair Emotion in 1, Cousins Big Red, 2, Run Bolt, 3, Razzle Dazzle Peaky, 4 is Zoom, 5, Salmic Sunset, and 6 is Massachusetts there, coming up behind traps. Racing, good start by trap 5, Salmic Sunset, 1 up the inside, Cousins Big Red, but it is Salmic Sunset that goes round in front. Zoom missed the kick but showed early speed to move second, but now 6 Massachusetts moves into second spot, but it's all about 5, Salmic Sunset by 3.5 into that third bend. 6 now Massachusetts building up ahead of steam into second spot, tries to challenge on the inside, force to check his stride. 4 Zoom back in the scene in third, but Salmic Sunset leads up the line, will score from in second. 6 Massachusetts and 4 Zoom. The winning time 28.75.
Yes, 28.75 the winning time indeed for Salmic Sunset, who returns to winning ways for Pat Guilfoyle. We'll see it again. As Ian said, Zoom and Run Bolt completely missed a kick early on, which was pretty much their downfall. But it was good early from Salmic Sunset. 1 Cousins Big Red has moved a little bit wide, which didn't help Run Bolt. But around the opening 2 bends, nothing could really live with Salmic Sunset, and he led by 4 lengths off the second bend. At this stage, I thought Massachusetts was a big danger to Salmic Sunset. He looks to come make his winning challenge to the third bend. He just can't get by at that occasion, and Salmic Sunset ended up kicking on and putting the race to bed, and Massachusetts' momentum was all but gone. But that manoeuvre at the third bend didn't really go Massachusetts' way, but he's run well in defeat. But Ian, winner's done it well, but Massachusetts may be returning to the kind of form that we were hoping.
Yeah, he showed plenty of pace, Massachusetts, but that's his problem. He sort of was dependent on getting a run around the opening 2 bends. You can see he's just not quite at the races into the bend. 4 Zoom made up eye-catching ground to get up his inside, but then he gets a lovely run around the outside, shows great pace into the third bend, and by all accounts looked a likely winner when he switched to the inside, but checked his stride, wasn't happy being in there. He wants to be on the outside, and it was to cost him. because Salmic Sunset, once straightening up, stayed on stoutly again. Massachusetts, though, an encouraging run in defeat. And 4 Zoom, I thought, ran very well for a dog that you'd expect to need to lead. But Zoom will win plenty of races in the near future, I promise you that.
Absolutely. We'll be getting back to Ian as well to just to reiterate and get his thoughts on the opening semi-final of the English Greyhound Derby. We've had the 2 heats of the plate, and the Derby is next up at Toaster. Ian will be giving us all the news as it happens on Racing Post Greyhound TV. Right, we're going to get to Joe, because Joe, they haven't come on parade yet for the big one, but let's get an early guide as to what you fancy for the big one of the night in Curraheen Park, the Denis Linehan Solicitors Unraced final.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Rob. It's a fantastic stake down here in Cork, and as we already spoke to him, Denis Linehan, we must give a massive thanks to him for sponsoring. It's fantastic prize money, €4,600 to our winner. And look at the form that has come out of the race last year. We had the likes of Ballymac Cash Out, the winner, Deadly Destroyer for Carl Ramsbottom. Look at the Greyhound. He has gone on to become in recent times. It's fantastic competition, and I've no doubt the pups in this race have massive futures ahead of them. The likes of Dramana Bucco, 28-13 victory last week. It was absolutely splendid run, 27.93 on the clock, but of course 20 fast. And one to note about this one, 3.25, it's early section, and that is phenomenal going around Cork. Anything on sub 3.30 is really, really moving in the early yards of the race. 15.91 to the third bend, and 12.02 coming home. So starts and stays this Dramana Bucco, and of course trained by a young greyhound man, Mark O'Donovan, whose kennel is flying at the moment, but he's not going to be without a stern challenge. The likes of Droopy's Dorado. I was chatting with Aoife Dunphy today, and she was very positive about Droopy's Dorado's chances. Of course, trained by the ever-shrewd Fraser Black. He's much experience, and he's a fantastic trainer, and he's travelling down here with the aim of winning this Denis Linehan Unraced competition. Bumpy Frank, of course, has some very, very nice runs done as well for John Kennedy and the Creed family. Barnfield Madam, of course, for Tomas Lee has some nice runs done as well. Clocked 28.93 last week. If it can get a clear run, sure to be there at the business end of things as well. Philip Buckley has the orange jacket of Blastoff Shea, and of course Philip won the Ledger a couple of years ago in Limerick with Blastoff Shea, so a very shrewd man as well. But all to play for here down here in Curraheen Park. Very exciting race ahead.
2 very good wins already. Now Bumpy Frank in 2 is John Kennedy's Greyhound from Clonmel. Has run twice, been placed twice, the Black Dog by Blahil Blake out of Galloping Maeve in Trap 2. Then comes 3, Dramana Bucco, and Mark O'Donovan trains for M.A. Bandurk from Wolverhampton, and they run in 3 with 2 class wins, and this fella is by Sparta Maestro out of Afane Beauty. Barnfield Madams in 4 here for Tomas Leahy from Ballymacoda. Agent is JJ Fenley, and they've had 1 placing from 2. Droopy Sydney out of Burgess Madam, this Greyhound, she's in 4. Then comes Blast Off Sia in Philip Buckley's Greyhound from County Tipperary by Droopy Sydney out of Blast Off Fizz, and Strides Impact just gone through there. And that is Alan Braziers from Kilsheelan, and Sharon Hunt trains with 1 win from 2. And back to 4 there. Barnfield Madam, Agent JJ Fenley for Tomas Leahy, Ballymacoda in 4. Now, they are the Greyhounds for the final. And Denis A. Linehan Solicitors, thank you very much indeed to you. This is a great stake. Fabulous runner-up money as well in this one. And Greyhounds will parade now. Let's see what you have. 2 minutes, they will be racing. And I wish you all the very best in this one.
Yeah, thanks for that. That's Serena. We're going to go our 3 to follow before we get Joe's final selection on the big one. So we're going to start with Droopy's Dorado. No surprises here. One of the unbeaten greyhounds in the lineup. Great to see Fraser Black with a promising youngster. He will probably need to go better than his 28.59 2 weeks ago to win, but he's very talented and he's got a big chance from an ideal draw. Trap 2 is Bumpy Frank. He's yet to win in this competition, but he's posted good times, and again, no doubt people will be putting in 1 and 3 in the trio. So if you're looking for something to bump up the trio, maybe Bumpy Frank in Trap 2 is the greyhound that you should be concentrating on. And then we come to Dramana Bucco, the most likely winner for Mark O'Donovan. What a year he's had. This lad's been scintillating, 28.13 last week, and given the way the track is running at Cork tonight, if this lad's in any way similar form, he may go close to 28 seconds. He's the greyhound to beat. If he hits the lids, surely it's going to be a matter of how far. But Joe, it looks a fascinating duel between traps 1 and 3, but no doubt Dramana Bucco will be tough to beat if he's in a similar form to last week.
Dromana Bucco has really been lighting up the track here at Curraheen Park, and of course owned by Mike Benderek of Wolverhampton, who had 2 Derby finalists with Mark O'Donovan's dad, Michael, down the years, Bucco's Dream and Mucky Bray. Perhaps they can go one better in this final here tonight. As you said, Droopy's Dorado has been very, very impressive. Perhaps the red jacket of Trap 1 is going to be key for Droopy's Dorado here. But as you alluded to, Rob, if Dromana Bucco can repeat its break from last week, it's all over, game over. But it's very hard to repeat these kind of runs week in, week out. Very exciting. We're going to head over to Serena now for our commentary.
The hair in action here for this one. Droopy's Dorado, Bumpy Frank, Dromana Bucco, Barnfield Madam, Blast Off Sia, Strides Impact. Racing away they go in the final. 2 and 3 show quickly. 3 from the centre is Dromana Bucco to the first bend. Dromana Bucco gets around from 1 on the inside. Droopy's Dorado in the back. 3 is very strong here. Dromana Bucco for Mark O'Donovan. Down the back it goes. Oh my goodness, it has stretched away 4 legs or so from 1 back in second. And as they go in for the next bend, it's Droopy's Dorado's back in second, but 3 Dromana Bucco is absolutely flying here. And Dromana Bucco is making this a fabulous race, and well done to you. 3, 1 and 2, and that's going to be a super run.
Yeah, super run. We're all waiting for Serena to give us the time, but yeah, it was all over early on. He didn't quite hit the lids maybe like he can, but he's just managed to get out in front of Barnfield Madam. He's moved a little bit wide, but once he found Anyway Daylight, that's when he's really kicked into gear. Halfway down the back, he's put 6 lengths between himself and Droopy's Dorado, and we know he's a fairly good youngster as well. And as fast as and as hard as Droopy's Dorado went, he was never clawing in this leader, Dromana Bucco, and he is absolutely flying, and must have won. He's probably won by 5 or 6 lengths in the end from Droopy's Dorado. He's done very little wrong in defeat, and we managed to get the trio as well, with Bumpy Frank staying on for third. But Joe, it was a 1 Greyhound affair, and have you got the confirmation of the winning time?
27.89 the winning time here in Curraheen Park. The track record is held by Curious Boy, who did 27.85. So Dromana Bucco has gone within 4 spots, a half a length of the track record here. It's his 3rd ever start. This is a dog with a massive, massive bright future, and what a wonderful performance. It was a real pleasure and a privilege to be able to watch that kind of performance. And 27.89 was absolutely phenomenal. And Droopy's Dorado has ran exceptionally well back in second, but Dromana Bucco has made him look average. I know it's probably a harsh thing to say, but he really has, such as the level of his performance. Starts and stays, and I think the options are endless for Dromana Bucco after that performance here tonight. But all in all, the rest of the field, they're fantastic pups, and there's going to be a lot of classic and top class competition winners coming out of this Denis Linehan Unraced final here tonight.
Absolutely brilliant. We thought he'd go close to 28 seconds. We weren't sure if he was going to break it. He's most definitely a dog worth following. Right, straight to Shelbourne on parade for the next.
Sorry, I was just watching the opening semi-final of the English Derby, to be honest. The runners now on parade for this 10th race here at Shelbourne Park, and first up in red is Vanderbilt for Michelle Connolly, Tremba Carl Ramsbottom, a son of Lawhill Blake, and so said Sarah. 2 in your card, Serene Ace for Edmund Ryan and trainer Mark O'Donovan, a son of Sklarmy Daddy and Bowley's Ace. 3, Butsy's Bullet, owned by the Butsy's Bucco Syndicate, a son of Ballymac Best, Kalikal Tammy. 4, Zumi Blaze, Morris Organ, owned by Daniel Gibbons and Stan Bowles, a son of Droopy's Roddick, Nan's Lucky. 5 is Much Debate, Pat Guilfoyle for Thomas Richardson, a son of Good News and 50 Shades Nifty. And out in 6 is Bat Show Pride for Gary Silcock, the Under the Star Syndicate, a son of Good News and Sylvia's Chloe. It's your 10th race here this evening, folks. The Rossiach Conair Open 525, second semi-final.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. I'd generally be going straight to my 3 to follow, but you may tell me what's happening in Toaster. I'm dying to find out.
I was trying to find out myself, to be honest. Ballymac Fairone took a flyer. That's all I need to tell you. He flew out, led all, won well. It's tight for second. I think Ballymac Wild may have got second. Lovely. And Dearjet Sydney third, holding off Toolmaker Sydney and the Flying Beach Avenue. An Irish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but Ballymac Fairone, a brilliant display. If he draws the middle next week, he's a big player. Trap 2 in second, Ballymac Wild, and back in third was 1, Dearjet Sydney. So those 3 progress. An Irish 1, 2, 3 in the opening heat.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'm on Ballymac Wild, so I was glad you told me that. Fascinating stuff, and that's great news. And you never know. We've got 3 in the second semi-final. It might be an all-Irish final. fingers crossed for that. We might even get an in-running commentary with Ian on the back of what we've just seen. Right, our 3 to follow for our 10th race here at Shelbourne Park. It's another cracking race, and we're going to start with Trap 2, Serene Ace for Edmund Ryan, trained by Mark O'Donovan. He's the man to follow. He can't do anything wrong. He's just had a Greyhound break the 28-second barrier down in Curraheen Park, winning the big unraced race stake down there. So if you're a fan of trainers, Serene Ace might be the way to go for Mark O'Donovan. But this lad's been flying. He was in brilliant form down in Kilkenny. He's a 3-time winner from 5 starts. He actually ran in a sprint at Curraheen Park in his most recent start. And if he can do something similar than what he did down in Kilkenny, he might take a little bit of beating. But a trainer in form, Mark O'Donovan, and don't be surprised if he lands this with Serene Ace. Next of our 3 to follow is Butsy's Bullet for Jerry Hollian. For the Butsy's Bus Goes Syndicate, they've been busy tonight. This lad's a 4-time winner from 11 starts. He won a Tralee on his most recent start. He is a winner here at Shelbourne. He can go up well, and he's most definitely won for the shortlist. And the last of our 3 to follow is Macho Pride for the Under the Star Syndicate, trained by Gary Silcock, a 3-time winner from 9 starts. Very good here last time out when recording 28.65. This lad can go up really well. He's the ideal draw, as in he's the only wide seed. And again, if you want to do the trio, he most definitely is one to put in. But they haven't yet come to trap scene. So was there anything that caught your eye in this 10th race?
This 10th race is pretty open, although the presence of Trap 2 Serene Ace adds real sort of intrigue to it. He won the Champion Open on race down at Kilkenny. He's a brother to Croker Spirit, member of a fast litter. He's got great early speed. He looks a real prospect. It'll be interesting to see how he handles Shelbourne Park, stepping back up to 525 yards if he traps on terms. He'll play a big part in proceedings. Much debate is a Greyhound that showed stunning early speed here on June 19th. Didn't quite get home. It'll be interesting to see if he gets loose again. But as you said, some really, really promising types in here, like Vanderbilt 28.68 last time, Zoomy Blaze 28.52 at Clonmel last time, Macho Pride 28.65 last time out, and I haven't mentioned Butsy's Bullet 28.55 at Tralee, and a winner here in 28.88 in his last 2 starts. So an intriguing contest. My money would be on Serene Ace, just because the level of competition he's been taking on down at Kilkenny. Behind him in the final was Droopy's Yes. We saw him do 28.54 earlier on tonight's card. So just don't be surprised if he hit the lids if he was to go pretty quick. But I suppose the same could be said for a number of these, including with much debate. It'd be interesting to see if he stays a bit better on the top of the going tonight.
Yeah, and the night that Vanderbilt did 28.92 in Kilkenny, the same night Serene Ace did 28.68. So on that piece of form, you'd have to think Serene Ace might be the one to beat. So 2 votes for Serene Ace. It's race 10 here at Shelbourne. We've 2 more races at Shelbourne after this, and we've 3 more races at Curraheen Park. But let's get back to Ian.
Yeah, the runners in traps for this 10th race, the Rossiach Conaire Open 525 semi-final. And there's the bell. 1 Vanderbilt and 2 Serene Ace, 3 Butsy's Bullet, 4 Zoomy Blaze, 5 Much Debate, and out in 6 is Macho Pride. The start going to be all important here. Racing, good start by Trap 3. Butsy's Bullet leads into the bend. Now 2 Serene Ace, showing good early speed up the inside, but gets clipped from behind, but still leads into the back straight now. 6 gets involved in trouble. Macho Pride and 5 Much Debate in second spot. He's not the strongest of stayers, so Serene Ace is very much in the driving seat. Leads by 5 on the third bend from 5 Much Debate. Back in third is 4 Zoomy Blaze, but out front, and it's Serene Ace going to make a winning start to his Shelbourne Park career. In second spot, 4 got there, Zoomy Blaze, from 5 Much Debate, 28.79 from Serene Ace, but there's certainly better to come.
Yeah, certainly better to come indeed. We're just going to have a recap. He was slowly into stride, but what I liked here is that he somehow has managed to get up between Vanderbilt and Butsy's Bullet. You'll see it here now. Butsy's Bullet has run well, but there's a small gap there, and he's shown the pace just to get around in front. Obviously, he was caught from behind, but he's managed to hold his feet. It was a messy race in behind, there's no doubting that, and very few Greyhounds got into it, but he showed some guts, and he showed an awful lot of pace to get in front around the opening 2 bends. And as Ian sort of alluded to in commentary, his winning time at 28.79, well, it's you can probably shave 30 spots, if not more, off that. But he's a youngster going places. He's now 4 from 6. He's another exciting prospect for Mark O'Donovan, Ian, and he looks as though a Greyhound, he's going to be running plenty here at Shelbourne Park.
Yeah, he sure will be. Serene Ace, a really nice early dash. Now, you know, it's funny to say it, but he's probably about 5th choice in the kennel at present, despite his promise. You know, that run down at Curraheen Park was something sensational from Dramana Bucko, and we look forward to seeing him making the journey up to Shelbourne Park, because he looks all over a Shelbourne Park Greyhound. But 2 Serene Ace isn't too bad either. Showed great early speed, got clipped in from behind at the opening turn, and thankfully stayed on his feet and ran very well to score in 28.79. But given the momentum lost and the fact that he got into a bit of trouble, you'd expect him to go a fair bit faster in time. That he could easily turn that into a 28.30 run in the very near future.
Yes, absolutely indeed. And Ian, down in Cork, not too just a few minutes ago, we saw Dramana Bucko break the 28-second barrier in Curraheen Park. On a November night back in 2012, it happened for the very first time here at Shelbourne Park, and it was done by a dog who done it for 3 consecutive weeks. And you reported on Talking Dogs TV, or Talking Dogs a little bit earlier in the week, that the great Paradise Madison passed away at the age of 12.
Robert, he did it 2 consecutive weeks, got beaten, and then in the semi-finals of the Comerford Cakes National Puppy Stake did the most stunning of runs, 27.67. Yeah, Paradise Madison was a freak. His performance that night when breaking the clock, I was actually on the stands. My late father was up here commentating, and as they entered the back straight, I went, oh well, I got this one wrong. On the form guide, I hadn't even tipped him to be in the first 3, and he's becoming the first greyhound to ever break 28 seconds at Shelbourne Park. Yeah, I got a bit of stick that night. Backed it up the following week, 27.96. Got beaten in the semis, or in the quarterfinals, but showed stunning pace in defeat. And then that night, I was lucky enough to commentate on breaking the track record here in 27.67. Still stands to this day, almost 9 years later. It was an absolute freak performance by an absolutely flying machine. And a run that will stay with me for quite some time, Paradise Madison, and a joy to call a dog like that home.
And that obviously, as you said, was 9 years ago, and we've seen so many wonderful dogs grace Shelbourne Park. The fact that the track record still stands shows you how good he was on that night. Yeah, of course it does. But, you know, you also got to take into account that there aren't too many open 5-2-5-yard competitions in Shelbourne Park, bar like the likes of the Oaks or puppy competitions. You know, the Gold Cup, the Gold Cup is back to 5-2-5 yards, but it's early in the year and conditions probably aren't conducive to it. There's been a few runs around the later part of the year, around Derby time, when dogs have been knocked out of Derby and stepping back to the trip. But no, by all accounts, you know, we saw the likes of Ballymac Garminta doing a 27.70 around here. That was unbelievable. Fastest pitch ever raced here at Shelbourne Park. But that night, Paradise Madison, he actually did run off the opening bend a bit. He took a little bump at boxes. It was just stunning. He could have gone faster, which was the worrying thing about it. He had an interrupted career, but he did win in Champion Stakes, and he won the very valuable Shelbourne Open 575 in early 2014, but sadly never got to win a Derby or anything like that. But no, a Champion Stakes winner, and that historic run will stand to us, will stay with us for the rest of my days anyway. Great memories, and as you said in Talking Dogs this week, rest in peace, Paradise Madison. Right, back to Curraheen Park we go. They're parading, we believe, for our 10th race. In fact, they're done parading, so we're going to go with our 3 to follow for our 10th race. They'll be going to Trap shortly, so we're going to start our 3 to follow with Churchtown Bucks in Trap 1 for Michael Crotty, trained by Denis Fitzgerald. A consistent son of Droopy's Jet. He was second last week after trying to make all. He looks as though he's got an ideal draw, and he looks as though he could be the likely leader earlier on. So Churchtown Bucks in the red jacket appears to have a big chance. He's actually stepping back in grade from proper open company to mini open company here. Trap 4 is Mairead's Grace for Joe Horan in Clane, County Kildare. Long trip down for Joe if he's gone to Curraheen Park. Looking for a little bit of compensation for Fraser Black. He was out of luck in the previous contest, but this son of Loghill Blake is an 8-time winner from 22 starts and has good form at Shelbourne Park. Has recorded 29.69 for the 550. A reproduction of that would most definitely give Mairead's Grace a winning chance here. And the last of our 3 to follow is Miss Clover. You might have saw her on Talking Dogs TV earlier in the year. She was running in the Puppy Oak. She actually ran against Susie Sapphire on a couple of occasions. Obviously, Susie Sapphire went on to win the Sporting Press Online Edition Irish Oaks. But on her best form, she's got a chance. She's returning from a little bit of a layoff. She's one of 3 wide seeds in the race, but she's well capable of leading here, and it'll be interesting to see if she can bounce back to her best form. But Joe, we might have had the main event already at Curraheen Park, but the top class action is continuing in Cork.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic scenes here in the aftermath of the Denis Linehan Unraced. Brilliant performance. Coming here to the 10th race, there's a real touch of class about a lot of these greyhounds. Miss Clover, a Puppy Oaks finalist, has some very fine runs to its credit, 28.60 around Shelbourne Park. But the one I really like is Bertie's Cuddles for the Kelleher family, and of course trained by the top class trainer that is Kieran Lynch. Has 28.58 done around Cork here. And one to note around that split on that occasion was 3.27. With the early pace like that, a repeat of that break will see Bertie's Cuddles go very, very close to the business end of things. We're heading over to Serena for our commentary now for our 10th race.
The hare in action here. Churchtown Bucks, Bertie's Cuddles, Asheville Doll, Mairead's Grace, Fionn Emmert, Miss Clover. Racing it away they go. Sharp start from 3 in the centre, and that's Asheville Doll to the first bend from 6 on the outside, Miss Clover. As they get around and head into the back straight, 3 goes on. And it's 3 from 6 and 2 with 1. 3 Asheville Doll from Miss Clover. Miss Clover on the outside is strong, and 1 and 2 are coming into it now as well. 6 goes on, a length clear. That's Miss Clover heading for home from 3 Asheville Doll. The last bend here, and they'll go for it with 6 with 3 and 1. Up for the judge they go, and Miss Clover goes over. Close enough indeed between 1 and 3 for the minor positions. And we'll wait for the minor ones there from the judges' box. And the time is a very classy 28.38.
28.38 indeed from Miss Clover. Great to see her bounce back. We were saying that she was running against the likes of Susie Sapphire and co earlier in the year, and she's most definitely repeated that kind of form. She came away okay. She showed good early. The key to her was that she kept an outside berth the whole way round, which meant that she had a clear path, and at this stage she looked as though she was the most likely winner, because she did run on to actually beat Front Armani here earlier in the year, so we know she stays well, and at this stage she's in front, and she leads off the final bend, and if anything she's managing to go away, so she's done that well. Looks as though possibly tight for second between Asheville Doll and Churchtown Bucks, but good to see Miss Clover back. We might see her back here in Shelbourne Park in the coming weeks, and she's done that in 28.38. Going to have a second replay, but Joe, we believe you've got winning connections as well following our big race in Cork.
Yeah, we have the one and only Mark O'Donovan. Mark, you're on absolute fire this year. Your dog, Dromana Bucco, winner of the Denis Linehan Unraced final, came within 4 spots of the track record there. Could you sum up that performance?
Sure, it was just great. It was a great run from him. Delighted with him. Delighted for the owner. And thanks to Denis for sponsoring the stake. Great sponsorship.
And you've had some good dogs with the owner, Mike Benderek, in the past. Tell us about those as well.
Yeah, no, Mike had 2 dogs that are in the final, the Irish Derby. And look, this fella's great to have for him as well.
And future plans, Mark, he starts and stays. Options are endless, really, for Dromana Bucco.
Yeah, sure, hopefully. Sure, we'll see how he's in the morning.
Maybe a pluck at the Derby.
Yeah, hopefully. That could be the plan, all right.
You've been having a great year. Kirby winner, Select Stakes winner, Conor Blaze, the stud winner. You're on fire.
Yeah, they're going all right, sure. It's easy training good dogs.
You won't get too excited anyway.
No.
Mark, thanks a million for joining us. It's fantastic, and wishing you continued success. Great to see young people doing well in the game.
Thanks a million, Joe. I'll talk to you later.
Cheers, Mark. Have it nice and easy on you. Well done. Thanks, Mark.
This evening about to parade. First up, we have the red jacket. Awesome Blue, and Awesome Blue is owned by Tom Bride, driven by Jack Bride, a son of Scalarmy Daddy, 2 Ben Mann for Owen Doyle and Ben Mannell, a son of Ballymac Vic and Newline Moe. 3 Razzle Dazzle Monarch for Neelis O'Connell and the Kildare Kilcolgan Syndicate, a son of Makeshift Razzle Dazzle Prue. 4 is in the Satchel, Graham Holland for the Pillar Syndicate, son of Skywalker Puma and Champagne Doll. 5 is Clara Icon, Robert Gleeson for Gary Hicks, a son of Droopy's Jet, Clara Lizzie. And out in 6 is Costa Plenty, Jerry Melia for the Costalot Syndicate, a son of Droopy's Roddick and Mary's Note. It's your 11th race here tonight, the penultimate race on the card. They're on the way to Traps, not long left to place your bets.
Yeah, thanks for that, Ian. The Greyhounds are done parading for a penultimate race of the night. This is most definitely one of the races of the night. It's a proper, you could say, Derby trial, because most of these will be contesting the Boyle Sports Derby in 5 or 6 weeks' time. The first of our 3 to follow is Razzle Dazzle Monarch for the Kildare Kilcolgan Syndicate for Neelis O'Connell. They're hoping for a little bit of compensation after a little bit earlier. This lad's very consistent. He's a regular on Talking Dogs TV, and he generally does his best work from halfway. So if he's anyway close, close at the third bend. He's sure to get into the mix. He's a 14-time winner from 52 starts. As we said, very seldom does Razzle Dazzle Monarch run a bad race. Then we come on to In the Satchel for the Pillar Syndicate for Graham Holland, who's been in brilliant form tonight. Now, this lad's only managed to win 1 from 14 starts, but that doesn't tell anyway the story. He's been running, he's been mixing it against the likes of Billy Steva and Great Name That. He returned with a 17:42 sprint trial in Cork, which suggests that he might be back to his best. He's covered the 525 here in Shelbourne in 28:12. If he does that tonight, you'd have thought he'll take a bit of beating. And then we come to Trap 5, perhaps the most fascinating runner in this lineup. Callara Icon for Gary Hicks and Robert Gleeson, of course. He got to the final of last year's Boyle Sports Irish Derby. He went across to the UK for a while. He's back, and he clocked a 2091 trial at Dundalk in a 400 trial just over a month ago. On this lad's best form, he's a big player, and no doubt Robert Gleeson is gearing up for the Boyle Sports Irish Derby in a number of weeks' time. But Ian, this is a really good race coming up, and while he may not win tonight, I'm fascinated to see how Callara Icon gets on.
Yeah, he's facing a very tricky draw here in 5 with Costa Plenty certain to cut inwards in the opening yards. But I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll cut off for a moment because they're in traps, and Knocknabull Sid has missed the kick. Instead, it's Callara Line going up well. New in session on his inside. Knocknabull Sid is back and forth, sneaks into third, but checks again, and he's back in fourth spot. It is New in session that leads down the far side from in second 3, Callara Line. Then comes 6 on the outside, Thorn Falcon. Knocknabull Sid trying to make a forward move again, but he's in a pocket back and forth. It's still New in session off the final turn. New in session from 3, Callara Line, and 6, Thorn Falcon up the line. New in session will score. Second is 3, Callara Line. It looks like Knocknabull Sid has lost out by about a head to Thorn Falcon. So it means that Ireland will have 4 runners in the final of the English Derby next Saturday night.
Yeah, you wouldn't think Ian back Knocknabull Sid. I've never heard a greyhound behind so much, getting so much coverage. But joking aside, Ian, New in session, myself and yourself were talking about him coming up in the lift earlier on. He hadn't really taken the toaster until maybe tonight.
Yeah, tonight he had the right dog in front of him, Callara Line, in the opening yards, but he showed good early speed up the inside, and once going to the front, he never really looked in danger. He's definitely getting to grips with the circuit, but it was the first time where he's really, shown drive into that opening corner. Once Knocknabull Sid missed the kick, he had no real opposition in the opening yards to deny him the early advantage. Thorn Falcon also didn't get a flying start, but no, a lot to like about how New in session went tonight, and he's there. He's in the Derby final. He's run better in other competitions in the early rounds and didn't get to the final. This year he's been scratchy through many of the rounds, and now he's in the final in the back of an impressive semi-final success. So perhaps this is the occasion where he wins the big one.
Okay, the draw is obviously Monday, but we're going to have a chat about the English Derby final, regardless of what way the draw works out. We're going to do that before we finish off at 10 o'clock. But they're nearly all in for this penultimate race here at Shelbourne Park. We've got Callara Icon, Razzle Dazzle Monarch, In the Satchel and Co. And they're nearly ready to rock for race 11.
All in traps now for this 11th race here at Shelbourne Park. Oh, there is the bell. This is your 11th race here tonight in 1 Awesome Blue. 2 is Benman, 3 Razzle Dazzle Monarch, 4 In the Satchel, 5 Callara Icon, and out in 6 is Costa Plenty. Here up behind boxes. And racing, good start by Trap 2 up the inside. Benman, 6 Costa Plenty cuts across and challenges for second spot. Callara Icon racing up on the outside and is perfectly poised into the back straight. Callara Icon hits the front early in the back. You may say good luck. He's gone on to win or lead here by about 3 lengths into that third bend. From in second, 6 Costa Plenty, and 1 Awesome Blue staying on well. But Callara Icon, he may need the outing, but he's clear up the home straight and will score in second spot. 6 Costa Plenty, desperately tight for third, but Callara Icon had a little rough ride in the opening yards, but ran a fantastic second bend, hit the front and ran out an easy winner in 28.63.
Yeah, Callara Icon is back, and it's great to see him back. His first race in Ireland, I think, in 2021. Probably his first race in Ireland since the Irish Derby final last year. As you can see, he said he had a bit of a rough ride, but he's done well to get where he was. He was nearly he nearly knew what to expect, and he navigated himself really well up to the opening 2 turns. But as Ian said, once he was anyway close halfway down the back, it was good night and good luck, and he's left these for dead, and he's kicked off heading into the third bend from Costa Plenty and Awesome Blue, who's stayed on well. But Calara Icon, it might have been a race that we were thinking he'll come on for it, and he's expected to come on from doing 28.63. But Ian, great to see him back, and he's a greyhound. No doubt we're going to see a lot over the next couple of months. Yeah, he's a February 18, Rob, so he does have a bit of age on his side, but by all accounts he looks well in himself there. 2091 trial at Dundalk, well, obviously you've suggested he was, fairly well forward. That's a stunning trial from a dog that we'd have known for his back straight pace and stamina. He showed his back straight pace again. He'll definitely come on for the run. You can see him not exactly stretching away, but he's certainly in fine fettle. And Calara Icon, it'd be just interesting to see how he performs over the next month or two now, because obviously he did reach a Derby final here a couple of years back. Yeah, he sure did. Just to get your initial reaction to the English Greyhound Derby, obviously the draws on Monday. We were all, I suppose, expecting Knocknabull Sit to come out and win the second semi-final, and he was going to be a red-hot favourite for the final. Obviously, he's not there. Ballymac fair one, regardless of whether he's drawn, but on paper, it looks maybe more open than we were thinking. Yeah, perhaps a lot will depend on the draw. Dearjet Sydney, while he did suffer defeat tonight, he's still a very big player in this competition. Ballymac Wild is a dog who... Wow, he's another big major final. It's incredible. He showed plenty of pace tonight. But if Ballymac Fair One gets 3 or 4, I could see him starting favourite. Thorn Falcon will be there. He's on the outside. He'll be drawn in 6. I think he's the only wide seed to progress. In fact, I don't think any middle seeds. It'll be 5 inside seeds. So it could be a very tricky draw for a couple of them. Dearjet Sydney will be hoping for something close to the fence, and we'll see where they go thereafter. Okay, the one thing we know is Thorn Falcon's going to be in 6, the only wide seed, and 5 inside seeds outside that. Okay, they're parading, we believe, down in Curraheen Park.
Now, trap at 3 here is Magical Jasper. Patrick Guilfoyle trains for Alice Guilfoyle from Clough Jordan. 17 wins Magical Jasper's had, running in 3 tonight. Now, 4 is Coonagar Spice, and Aoife O'Keefe from County Waterford, the owner, 5 times a winner. That's trap 4, Coonagar Spice. Then comes 5, Rock Burst Mike. Bit of Crack Syndicate are the owners here from Mount Mahon Abbey, and Jerry Griffin's the trainer, 5 times a winner, middle seed in 5, Rock Burst Mike. And Scarty Jet is in 6 here for Gary and Mary Deneen from Scarty Glen. 1 win already, a wide seed in 6. Okay, they're the greyhounds for this 5:50 race. And the off time is 9:37 here. And we have 3 minutes to that from now. Yeah, 3 minutes indeed to the penultimate race of the night at Curraheen Park. It's been a great night down in Curraheen Park. Hopefully they're looking after Joe, even though Limerick managed to beat Cork in the Munster Senior Hurling Championship semi-final. Right, before we go to Joe, we're going to get our 3 to follow for this A1 550, and we're going to start with Magical Jasper in trap 3. It's been a busy night for Pat Guilfoyle. He's got a good chance here with this son of Headbound. He's been a little bit out of luck of late, but we know in his best form he's got a big chance. 29.83 for the 550 in Shelbourne proves that. And he's been running at Mullingar, Limerick, Thurles. He's now down in Curraheen Park. If he can get a clear run, he no doubt is one for the shortlist. Next is Rockburst Mike for the Bit of Crack Syndicate. This one trained by Jerry Griffin, a 5-time winner from 27 starts. He's recorded 29.50 in Shelbourne Park, and he's done 28.63 down in Tralee as well. And a really good run for the 600 when he managed to finish behind Doolin Duke in Limerick. So this lad can start, but he definitely stays. And again, if you're getting involved in the trios, which have been paying well tonight, he might be a bit of value in that front. And then we come to the sole wide seat, Scarty Jet for Gary and Mary Deneen. This lad's the most likely leader because we know he can fly from traps. He's been running well in sprints, although in saying that he stays well as well because he caught the eye behind Skywalker Logan not that long ago in Cork when posting a 31.34, and he's done 31.01 for the 570 as well. So maybe Scarty Jet, the fact that he starts and stays, might be the most likely winner. But Joe, you've had a good night on the tipping front. What do you like in our penultimate race?
Yeah, Robin, as you said, the Cork crowd are really looking after me now in the aftermath of the hurling draft. We're putting up a big protective screen, and I've 2 full-time security guards just making sure that none of the Cork crowd take their anger out on the Limerick people. Speaking of Limerick people, we've another Limerick man with a runner here in our 11th race. That's Rockburst Mike and Jerry Griffin from Abbeyfield. Of course, Rockburst Mike had touch of class about this greyhound. He got to the 3rd round of the Irish Derby in 2020 and has some nice runs to his credit, the likes of 29.50 for the 550 for the Bit of Crack Syndicate, a fantastic group of greyhound men. Of course, they're having great crack with this fella. Hopefully he can be thereabouts for them. Kilpipe Glen runs the course for Graham Holland. Some very, very nice runs, 28.66 around Shelbourne Park. Perhaps the red jacket of Trap 1 would certainly suit Kilpipe Glen. And of course, Magical Jasper for the Guilfoyle family, 3rd in the Golden Muzzle final, which the Golden Muzzle is a fantastic competition ran in Limerick year in, year out, and to come 3rd in that, you definitely need a good touch of class. And this greyhound has 28.40 on its card in Thurles, and as we all know, Thurles is quite a slow track. It's a stiff track, and if you can do that kind of run around Thurles, you really, really have a touch of class about you. Scarty Jet for Gary and Mary Denis. Of course, the Denis family have had some fantastic greyhounds down the years, the likes of Scarty Yank, and this one 17.77 sprint around Tralee in its return, has 31.34 around Cork as well, so certainly a greyhound with plenty of ability. It's quite a wide open race here, but we have to go for 3 Magical Jasper as we head over to Serena for our commentary.
Here in action, Kilpike Glen, Eden Currabray, Magical Jasper, Cuniger Spice, Rockburst Mike and Scarty Jet. Away they go. They're racing in this one. Smart start from the centre, 4 and 3. They get to the bend. 3 in the centre gets their Magical Jasper just about as they head around to the first bend and into the back straight they go. Magical Jasper goes on from 2, Aiden Currabray, and the others are trying hard behind. 6 and 4 and 5 is 1 is at the back door. They'll go for the last bend and they'll head for home with trap 3 Magical Jasper up front from 2. Eden Currabray, who's trying very hard in the run in. It's 3 from 2 and on the outside 2 on the inside 3, but 3 is over. 3, 2 and possibly 6, and that's a very good run up front. That's going to be a good run from Magical Jasper and Patrick Guilfoyle, training for Alice Guilfoyle. 3 the winner, 29.55, a very good run.
Yeah, very good run indeed for Magical Jasper, for Pat Guilfoyle. As we said, it's been a busy night for Pat, and he's managed to have the winner there. It was never really in doubt when Magical Jasper managed to lead around the opening 2 bends. We know Anna Currabray can stay well, but Magical Jasper, in fairness, is a stout stayer, so we knew that this son of Headbound wasn't going to really be reeled in. Maybe momentarily off the final bend, Eden Curry Bray fans might have got a little bit hopeful, but he's won well, he's won comfortably, and he's done that in pretty good style. And it's another winner for Pat Guilfoyle, who's going to have a busy few months coming up. And Joe, the winner's done that well, and the key was getting around in front.
Yeah, very, very impressive performance. Managed to evade any traffic and congestion around the opening turn. And as you said, Rob, that was absolutely key. Strode on down the back straight and showed that real touch of class. Remember, Magical Jasper was a semi-finalist in the Cesarewitch in Mullingar, finished 3rd in the Golden Muzzle in Limerick. And as we said before the race, had 28.40 done around Thurles. So real classy greyhound. That's 52 starts and 18 wins. And that's a tremendous strike rate. As we said before, probably even better strike rate than Ian Fortune had in Coppers in his heyday, even with that Ralph Loren jacket on. 2, Eden Currabray ran with great credit back in 2nd as well for John Murray and Michael Spillane. And of course, very, very tight for 3rd. We had Scarty Jet for the Denis family. But all in all, a fantastic performance by Magical Jasper for the Guilfoyle family, taking our 11th race here in Curraheen Park.
Thanks for that, Joe. Rumour has it Ian was he was 100% strike rate in Coppers back in the day, but that's a long time ago, so we'll say no more there. They're just about to come on parade for our final race at Shelbourne. Ian, obviously we're coming to the end of tonight's programme, and we're taking a little bit of a break from Talking Dogs TV, but we've got a real busy programme coming up in the Irish Greyhound calendar. Obviously the Champion Open 550 and the Corn Cuchulainn run over the next couple of weeks, but we got the likes of the Tipperary Cup, the Champion Stakes isn't far away, the Bar 1 Sprint isn't too far down the corner. This is the time to be alive in Irish Greyhound racing.
Yeah, it's a great time of the year. You know, the young dogs now have to step up. They have to start staking their claim, getting the bit of experience behind them before they launch their Derby Challenge, and it's now where you will look and find clues for the dogs that are going to emerge. Of course, there's so many established stars. The dogs that have all been challenging for English Derby glory will no doubt come back here to Shelbourne Park. We're pointing out there's a €50,000 bonus on offer for the Derby winner, the English Derby winner, should they go on to win the Irish Derby. And if it just happened to be one of the Irish Greyhounds, well, I'll tell you what, it could get a little bit sweaty. Meanwhile, on parade now for this final race here at Shelbourne Park. And so the runners on parade for this Boyle Sports Open 550. In 1, we have Broadstrand Ryan, talented son of Ballymackesky and Druppies Riana Trimble, John Linehan for the Ryan Drake Donovan Syndicate. Next in the blue jacket you have Sweep the Yard, trained by Graham Holland for the Broken Bookies Syndicate, a talented son of Swift Hoffman and Salons Mia, ran well in the early rounds of the English Derby. 3, Night Tornado, owned by Larry Dunn, a hugely fast son of Druppies Kane and Royal High Flyer. Need to find his trapping boots, but if he does, he's a big player. 4 is Catch Me Flying, ran very well in defeat last time, trained by Thomas Buggy for John Byrne, Michael Byrne, a son of Shavatar and Roseville Liz. 5 is Auxerre, owned by Ollie Shields, a son of Drubby Sydney and Tom's Delight. Completing the lineup in the striped jacket is Oran Don, trained by Mary Gilbert, Des Gilbert, a son of Overlimit and Lughill Neave. What a star this fellow's been through his career. It's the 12th race in your card, the Boyle Sports Open 550. They're on the way to Traps. Not long left, ladies and gentlemen, to place your bets.
Yeah, it is a great card to finish off our night's action here at Shelbourne Park on Talking Dogs TV. Right, our 3 to follow. Hopefully we can finish with a bang and try and get a trio in the bag. Trios have been playing well tonight. We're going to start with Broadstrand Ryan, who is ideally housed in Trap 1. Most of his good runs have come from him in the red jacket. He didn't have much luck when the last time we saw him behind Croker Spirit, but he can record really good times for the 5.25, 28.25, 28.24 at Shelbourne. Been a good night for John Lennon. He's had a winner down in Cork. He's had a winner already here at Shelbourne Park. He won the opening race with Droopies, yes. And it will be interesting to see how this lad fares over 550. It's his first run over 550. He will need to hit the lids if he's any chance of winning, but if he does, it'll be interesting to see how he can last out the 550-yard trip. Then we come to Trap 3, Night Tornado for Larry Dunn. He's a 4-time run winner from 11 starts. He's obviously had the odd hold up here and there because he hasn't had as many runs as would have been a like, but he's posted 27.88 here for the 5.25 at Shelbourne. We were talking about Paradise Madison and Greyhounds like that. We've seen the 28-second barrier break broken down in Cork. It's hard to do, and the fact that this lad has already done it suggests that this lad is blessed with an awful lot of gears, and if he's on song tonight, he's got a big chance. And then we come to Auxerre again. If you're getting involved in the trio, although he is a winner on his most recent start, but he might boost the trio a little bit. He's a 13-2 chance on the Bark and Buzz app. He's a really consistent son of Droopy Sydney, a 9-time winner from 32 starts. He can start, he can stay, and again, he loves it here at Shelbourne Park. But that's 3 against the field. You could easily include the other 3 in. That's testament to Mr. Dempsey for giving us this final race tonight here at Shelbourne. Yeah, an absolutely cracking contest to look forward to. We've seen quite a few of these in Talking Dogs TV over the last 3 months, Rob. The last races on a Saturday night have been a joy. Some brilliant performances, and you know, who's to say we haven't seen a Derby winner in action in the finales over the last 3 months. And you know, there's 1 or 2 here where you wouldn't expect them to win a Derby, but you could certainly see them going a few rounds. And as you can see, the loading process is underway. Broadstrand Ryan is an interesting runner. He still looks very green, very just unpolished at present. When the penny drops, I think he's very quick. Sweep the Yard is very talented, slightly enigmatic, perhaps saves his best for other tracks. Night Tornado is a hugely fast, hugely promising greyhound. It just hasn't happened for him this year. He's been lightly raced. He went over to Toaster, challenged for that, went out in the first round. Didn't happen for him here on June 19th, so it'll be very interesting to see how he comes away from boxes. 29.53 trial would suggest he's in fine form. And then Catch Me Flying, Auxerre and Oran Don, all very well established, very talented individuals. Cracking race to finish off here tonight at Shelbourne. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is the bell. This is the finale. 1 Broadstrand Ryan, 2 Sweep the Yard, 3 Night Tornado, 4 Catch Me Flying, 5 is Auxerre, and 6 Oran Don. Hair up behind Traps. Racing, good start by 1 up the inside. Broadstrand Ryan leads into the opening turn from in second. 5 Auxerre, then comes 4 Catch Me Flying, but it is Broadstrand Ryan moves with real menace out front, leads by 2 lengths into the back. Now 4 Catch Me Flying is indeed flying in second spot, trying to close the gap. So too is 6 Oran Don, but on that third bend, and Wood Broadstrand Ryan never seems to run it too fluently, and he's headed by Catch Me Flying, who is going to win, it seems, in impressive style. Catch Me Flying goes on to score. Second, it's tight between 6 Oran Don, who ran on stoutly, and Broadstrand Ryan just not handling that third bend. The winning time, 29.66. Yeah, 29.66 the winning time, and we're going to have a rerun again. We said that Broadstone Ryan needed to get a flyer if he's to have any chance of winning, and that's exactly what he's got. He loves the red jacket here at Shelbourne Park, and he's absolutely flew to the opening bend. And at this stage, we were saying, right, Broadstone Ryan is going to bounce back to winning ways, and he's going to show us what he can do over 550. But we remember Catch Me Flying from the early rounds of the Irish Derby last year, so we know he's no slouch. And as Ian said, just Broadstone Ryan, whatever it is about that third bend, he doesn't check. He just seems to slow up for whatever reason. But you can't do that if you've got a greyhound like Catch Me Flying beside you. And that was most definitely the reason that Broadstone Ryan has lost that. He might have held on for second, Ian, which suggests that nothing is amiss with him. Just something at that third bend.
I'd say he's third. I'd say Oran Dunn got second, but listen, it's just something he just hasn't handled since he's come here at Shelbourne Park. It may come, but for the meantime, I might continue to oppose him. But Catch Me Flying, you referred to 28 seconds been broken for the first time earlier on by Paradise Madison. Well, Catch Me Flying is one of the select group of greyhounds that has broken 28 seconds here at Shelbourne Park in a contest. He clocked 27.98 last October, and it took him a while to get back to his very best form, and this is something like his very best form. While 29.66 was bettered a few times here tonight, it was the manner of his success that would suggest that he's a dog that's really in flying form, and a tremendous winner. Catch Me Flying. Great way to end proceedings here at Shelbourne Park. A special night's racing.
Yeah, absolutely. He recorded 29.36 in the early stage of the Irish Derby last year when he beat Mina Miracle. So no doubt the buggies will be going back to the Irish Derby with him. Right, we're going to get straight to Cork. We have one more race at Curraheen Park, but our man Joe has caught up with Brian Collins after an excellent night's action.
Yeah, we're here with Brian Collins, racing manager here in Curraheen Park's Greyhound Stadium. And Brian, we must give great credit to you and all your ground staff and your team. A fantastic night's racing and fantastic sponsorship from Denis Linden. And I think you've been duly repaid with the level of action we've seen here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, I suppose before you start, you want to thank Denis Linden. He's a great sponsor. He's been a great supporter of Curraheen Park for the last number of years. And I think we don't say that enough. Look, it was a great night's racing, and I suppose the stake itself just turned out to be a cracking event.
And the performance of the winner, 27.89, and O'Curry's Byholds record 27.85. It's a long time since we've seen that around here.
Yeah, I mean, look, there aren't too many dogs break 28 seconds around Curraheen. It takes a special dog, and look, he looks one for the future, definitely.
Absolutely, and we had a fantastic news with the additional year for the Laurel sponsorship. Could you enlighten us with that?
Yeah, I suppose, look, we got a response that we couldn't have imagined the response we got at the time, and in fairness to the committee, they've worked very, very hard trying to, I suppose, make everything last as long as possible, and to get the extra year out of it. Look, it's a huge advantage, obviously, for everyone. It means that everything is settled for an extra year, and brilliant news.
Well, the Laurel starts 25th of September. It cannot come fast enough. Brian, to you and all your team, thanks a million for having us, and you've put on a fantastic show here tonight.
Starts. Trap 3 is Kill Pipe Blue. Palatine Sid is in 4 here. John P. O'Sullivan as the trainer for Stuart Walford from Killarney. Moon Rocket is in 5 here for Dennis Fitzgerald training for the Abbey Bar Syndicate from Castle Lyons. And then 6 is Fitzy's Last, and Finbar Fitzgerald and Liam Fitzgerald from Mallow are the owners, and they've had 6 great wins with this dog. He's a wide seed running from 6 tonight. So there you have it. There are the Greyhounds for the Slánna 525, the 12th race on the card. We race again next week, Friday and Saturday. But tonight has been a super night's racing, and thank you to everyone. Congratulations as well to anyone who had a winner, and indeed, of course, in the final tonight. Super running all together we had, and from Dramano Bucco. And thank you so much for making it a great night. Thank you very much to the Greyhound owners and trainers, always supporting us and providing us with great racing. And thank you very much to you. It's much appreciated. And this is the 12th and final race.
Yeah, thanks for that, Serena. We most definitely agree with those words. Right, our 3 to follow for the final time tonight, and for the final time on Talking Dogs TV for a few weeks. It's the Slánna 525, so it's aptly named. And the first of our 3 to follow is Trap 2, Coolavani Swift for the length and a half syndicate, trained by Kieran Lynch. A fine early pacer, has done 28.77 for the 525 here at Cork. 17.82 suggests, a recent trial suggests that this lad's on form. and he might be one to go up well in the early stages. Very seldom runs a bad race. In fact, from the 6 starts he's run, he's never been out of the first 3. Then we come to Kilpipe Blue for Willie Codd and Graham Holland. Been a great night for Graham. Hasn't won in a while, this son or this daughter of Droopy Sydney, but is well capable. Obviously was running in the Irish Oaks here at Shelbourne not that long ago. Is taking a step down in grade, and it wouldn't be a big surprise if she did take advantage of that. She's got a big chance. And the last of our 3 to follow is Trop 5 Movan Rocket for the Abbey Bar Syndicate, trained by Denis Fitzgerald, who's been on the mark already. Now this lad's only had the 1 run, but he was well fancied on debut when finished behind Droopy's Dorado. That's obviously not bad form, and he's clocked 28.56 for the 525 in Cork and 16.54 for the sprint in Waterford. That suggests that this could be a youngster going places, and he might be a bit of value on the trio. But Joe, for the final time this season, let's get a winner off you on Talking Dogs TV.
Getting a bit emotional now. It's our final race on Talking Dogs TV. It's been fantastic nights racing and a really good one race to top it all off. My idea of the winner here is Cool of Annie Swift for Kieran Lynch, 17.63, which is an SSO, which is a really good time done for the sprint here. If you can translate that sprint form to the 525 here in Curraheen Park, will be banged there at the business end of things. I also like Moon Rocket for Denis Fitzgerald. I was speaking with his right-hand man before racing, and he said that 28.56 qualifying trial is a very, very nice piece of form. Things didn't go its way in the Denis Linehan Unraced for Moon Rocket, but sure to be back and make amends for that. And we're heading over to Serena for our commentary for our final race here on Talking Dogs.
In action, Lady Blake, Cool of Annie Swift, Kilpipe Blue, Palatine Sid, Moon Rocket, Fitzy's Last. They're off. They're out and racing. 1, 2 and 3. Show smartly. 6 is quick on the outside. Fitzy's Last gets to the bend. Good running up to the first bend from Fitzy's. 1 on the inside is Lady Blake in second. 6, 1 and 2. They will navigate the back straight with 6, 1, 2 and 5, 3 and 4, but 6 is still there, and it's Fitzy's Last with 1 on the inside, trying the inside track. Lady Blake is trying hard on the inside, but 6 is still there. Fitzy's Last up front. She switches to the outside in second and up for home, and 6 Fitzy's Last is strong to the finish. And 6, 1 and 5 possibly there back in second and third, but up front, and Fitzy's Last was super for Finbar Fitzgerald and Liam Fitzgerald, and has been a winner now on 7 occasions. And the clock is 28.51. A really good run indeed. A very, very good run. Well done to you.
Yeah, very good run indeed from Fitzy's Last, and that's a personal best from the son of Droopy's Jet. Flew from Traps, was in front at halfway, and the fact that he's done 28.67 at Cork, we know he sees out the 525 yard distance well, and never really looked like getting pegged back by Lady Blake, and in the end has won going away and has managed to do that. That's win number 7 from 20 starts. But Joe, it was Fitzy's Last pretty much from early stages.
3:35, which is very, very promising early pace, and continuation of that will see Fitzy's Last even pick up more races. That's 20 starts and 7 wins now, almost 33% strike rate, so very, very nice performance. Well done to Finbar and Liam Fitzgerald of Mallow there, very nice performance. And the clock 28.51, stayed on stoutly as well, 12.28, so perhaps a step up in distance of 5.50, perhaps 5.75 could be in the pipeline for this son of Droopy's Jet. Lady Blake ran with great credit for Gerard Murphy back in second, and Moon Rocket, as we said before the race, a very, very exciting prospect for Denis Fitzgerald, ran into third place. I'm sure bigger and better things to come for those greyhounds. But concluding our final race here, Fitzy's Last for the Fitzgerald family, taking our 12th race here in Curraheen Park in a very slick clock of 28.51.
Okay, thanks, Joe. And Joe, just to finish off, obviously we're not done with Talking Dogs TV. As Ross said to Rachel, we're only taking a break. But for many, a lot of people are dead heated as the highlights with you. It's either your love-hate relationship with Ian Fortune or the bromance that you built up with Timmy Holland back at the start. Your highlight of Talking Dogs TV for the first 3 months.
Well, myself and Ian Fortune, I'm very big into poetry and William Shakespeare and English literature. And William Shakespeare had a great saying that it's true love that doesn't run smooth. So myself and Ian, we have our ups and downs, but you know what, we really have each other's back at the end of the day. It's been a fantastic couple of months here, from the Kirby to the Produce Stakes in Clonmel to down to Tralee to the Race of Champions, to the fantastic action we've seen in Curraheen Park tonight, as well as obviously the splendid action we've seen in Shelbourne Park over the last number of months. It's been really, really exciting. It's been a privilege and an honour for me to be able to bring the racing closer to homes, and when people really couldn't go racing back in March for the likes of the Kirby, I felt very, very special and privileged to be able to be the one to bring the action into people's homes, and it was just fantastic to be part of it all. We've seen some fantastic performances. Stone Park Leo winning the Kirby, a local success, was brilliant. We've seen explosive boys break the track record down in Tralee. We've seen Dramana Bucco win here tonight at Curraheen Park. These are greyhounds with fantastic future, and the era for greyhound racing is very, very bright at the moment. We've some thrilling greyhounds in action at the moment, and the Irish Derby and the Laurels and the Ledger, the second half of the year is, hopefully, if it's as exciting as the first half of the year has been, it'll be a lot to show for. Cannot wait, and very, very exciting times ahead, and I'd like to thank everyone for all their support over the last number of months on Talking Dogs TV. It's been an absolute pleasure, and looking forward to being back for the Derby in a month or so time.
Yeah, thanks for that, Joe, and thanks for all your hard work. You most definitely brought a lot of flavour to the show. Right, from one stud to another, Ian Fortune. Let's look forward, because we're not going to look back. Joe's done that, but the next time we're on Talking Dogs TV, we'll be here for the first 2 rounds of the Boyle Sports Irish Greyhound Derby. Obviously, next Saturday in Toaster will have some sort of an implication, but there's been so much talent that we've seen here at Shelbourne and all around the country, and it's not that far away, the Irish Derby. If you were coming up with a short list, what would be the dogs in contention for that?
You'd have to suggest that the dogs that performed so well in England, there's no reason why they can't come back here. They'll have a good break after it, guts of a month more, in fact, before the opening round of the Irish Derby. So, the very best of luck to them. But Explosive Boy has a lovely position now. He's already won the Race of Champions. He's already won the Produce Stakes. He went so close in the Kirby. They're going to take in the Dundalk International and then aim him at the Derby. And I see he's 16-1 favourite for the Derby. I'm not sure what way Boyle Sports are priced it. I'm sure he's around that price with them. And, he seems to have all the attributes needed. But we've seen some greyhounds in recent weeks that can step forward. Dramana Bucco, someone asked me the other night what are they going to do with him. Well, there are not really many options. He's in August 19. He's going to be out of puppy company, sooner rather than later. It's now or never. Step him up. And I don't think the 550 yards would be a problem to him, so you don't have to worry about that. Experience is the only issue, but he's not going to learn unless you give him a crack here at Shelbourne Park, and I'd be amazed if he doesn't make an appearance in Shelbourne in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and perhaps get another 2 or 3 races under his belt before an Irish Derby campaign. If he was mine, that's what I'd be doing, because there's only one Irish Greyhound Derby, and bring it on. By all accounts, Dramana Bucco is talented enough to be there. We've seen a few fine performances this evening from the likes of Ballymac Ariel and co in the Shelbourne Champion 550. So there's so much going to happen the next month before we really start to look at the Irish Derby in depth. But I can promise you one thing: it's shaping like an unbelievable competition.
Absolutely. And to finish off, we've had so many highlights on Talking Dogs TV. The race that springs to mind was one of our first nights. That Shelbourne Open 600 final. It won't just go down as one of the highlights on Talking Dogs TV. It must go down as one of the greatest races ever witnessed here at Shelbourne Park. Yeah,
it was an unbelievable race, Rob. There's no question about it. The fact that I'd backed Ballymac Wild anti-post did help as well, of course. But for me, and you know yourself, Rob, when you call the race, it means a bit more to you. You called that one, and it was a great call. I really enjoyed Susie Sapphire. I think she's a potential star. I hope she comes in season soon and we see her at the back end of the year, because she's what you want to see in a top class lady. She's flying early speed. She's massive down the back. She's promised. She has real determination. There's a real sort of ease of movement about her. I'd love to see her back in action. But we've been treated to some unbelievable racing, of course, down the country. We saw the Kirby. We saw a brilliant performance by Stone Park Leo. We saw Explosive Boy in the Produce Stakes. We saw him in the Race of Champions. So many highlights. But for me, I'm going to say Susie Sapphire.
Brilliant, yeah, finishing off with a female. Right, that's it, folks. We're not done. We're only taking a break. We'll be back for the first 2 rounds of the Boyle Sports Irish Greyhound Derby. And before then, Racing Post Greyhound TV are going to cover action here at Shelbourne Park. But until Friday the 13th, let's hope it's lucky for some. And until then, we hope you stay safe.